The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
All we want to do is eat your brains. We're not unreasonable. I mean, no one wants to eat your eyes. All we want to do is eat your brains. We're at an impasse here. Maybe we can compromise. If you'll open up the door, we'll all come inside and eat your brains.
Last Call is streamed before an undead audience.
Salute and welcome. Yeah, I was intending to have some fun with tonight's stream. I can tell by the comments you guys are going to be too. Welcome, everybody. Tonight I am sipping on a white zombie cocktail. The link to the recipe is down below, and despite what I might have said, yes, I probably will be eating some eyes tonight. It's what you do with a zombie cocktail rather than olives. But how you doing, Boomer? And what are you sipping on?
I just got a Coca-Cola Classic.
You got to work tomorrow?
I do not, fortunately, but I am just taking it easy. It's my first Coke of the day, actually.
There you go.
I had a lemonade earlier.
Is that your first caffeine, or are you a coffee drinker?
I drink coffee every so often. When I was at the shelter, I was drinking coffee because they had that all night long, and I was on B shift. So yeah.
Yeah.
What did I want to tell you though?
Yes.
I did want to make mention to you that you said, "Well, we won't eat your eyes." I'm thinking, no, it's the cannibals that'll eat your eyes.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people who live there. Yes. As a matter of fact, check out Charlotte Nightstar's channel. She just put up a song to that effect.
That's funny.
She's getting in on the parody train, so to speak. But
I think it was in Green Inferno, where I haven't seen that movie because, man, I don't know if I can stomach it. But apparently there's a scene where one of the tribes people just rips out one of the guy's eyes and eats it in front of him.
Yikes. Well,
cannibal movies will be a topic for another night. Maybe around Thanksgiving. I'm joking, of course. Okay.
There you go. And just back from a slight sabbatical is Netter of Netter's Network. How you doing, my dear? And what are you sipping on?
Well, I was two-fisting it. I have my Meyer brand sparkling water, which is empty. And then this zombie.
Yeah, white zombie. Yeah, she's got one too.
What are those eyes anyway? Were those like gummy eyes or something?
Yeah, they're called bloodshot eyes. It's a Halloween treat.
I think, what was it? Chili's, every year they offer some weird mixture you can get around Halloween time. They'll have I think one had a gummy spider in one year or something like that. That's what that reminds me of.
As a matter of fact, the blood that's used as a garnish is actually homemade. It's honey and food coloring.
That probably has that. Maybe that's kind of has a blood consistency.
I like that. That's good, Natter.
I'm a zombie.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm Is that like a zombie maker when you put your face into the image and they make you into a zombie?
No, I just Googled zombies.
Yeah, it's a straight.
You don't find a lot of images.
And then I just found a female that looked nice.
I'm pretty sure that one's from Walking Dead, but I'm not 100% positive about that. Anyway, let's say hi to all you other zombies out there. Yeah. Starting with Lady Miss, I can't bring up comments from before a certain point, so I'm sorry about that. I'm just gonna have to read them off of YouTube. But Lady Miss was first, and
I'm sorry, I'm way behind saying my hi, sweeties.
Yes, you are. But they know you were detained and you just joined us. So starting with Lady Mist, I don't know what time you were here, but I know you're always here really, really early.
I can tell you.
Okay, tell me.
2:44 p.m.
There you go. Wow, this afternoon before I even got off of work. And then John Ponteliero. Salute, my friend. He came in shortly thereafter.
Okay, zombie drink yum.
Yeah, you like it?
Eyeballs yum too.
You were concerned about the cream and the vodka, but I think they went pretty well together. I did change the recipe slightly. Half of the vodka that's in here is actually cake flavored zombie. It's cake flavored zombie. Yeah, cake flavored vodka. I'm not sure how much that actually lends itself to the flavor here.
I think it helped.
But it's pretty good.
I ate my eyes.
You ate your. There you go. Someone had to eat your eyes.
I wonder what we taste like the zombies. Tiramisu, maybe. I don't know.
That's very interesting. In which case, this would be pretty spot on. We'll get into the lore on zombies and some speculation about biology, and I will also come back to Lady Mist's list. She listed her list of favorite zombie films.
Oh, okay. Well, she can let us know them. Yeah. Anyone
so
has a top five? You want to name them?
Yep. So is Big Al Presents. Have a great stream, my friends. Have a great weekend. All some zombie films I like. Here's a couple I had never heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
Dead Dream, aka Dead of Night from 1974. I do like this one. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies 2016. It actually had me thinking about making a Regency dress for Netter. And The Return of the Living Dead from 1985. Welcome, Curtis Selby.
Oh, Death Dream, also known as Dead of Night.
You know that one?
One of the movies on my list is by the same director. Yes, it's a good one.
Okay.
It's actually almost like an analogy for it's like a kind of almost a take on the Monkey's Paw, about how this family's son, they got the letter that he died in Vietnam, but then she wishes or something that he come back, and then he comes back, but there's something wrong with him.
Yeah,
you know?
I get you.
It has a very almost a tearjerker ending.
Pet Cemetery type element, huh?
It almost has a tearjerker ending. I'm going to spoil. I don't care where he goes into his own grave and just starts pulling the dirt over himself because he's in. You want to cry because you realize too it's a. I don't know, kind of a double meaning with how people were feeling about Vietnam. And
I would imagine so. Yeah.
It was just, yeah.
And Cyberpunk Dystopia, welcome, my friend. D. Pensek, happy Friday to all. Yes, absolutely. JPRPH1, hello again. Deleted Scenes, salute. Yes, like and share and subscribe. Please do all those things. I see my channel members dropping the Fedora, the Brown Mumbler, the Canarble Wagon. Thank you, my friends. You guys are all so encouraging. Lady Miss dropping the flowers. Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Hello. Well, I thought I could bring up. Hold on. I got to back up. Let me back up. There you are, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. God bless you, Netter.
Thank you.
And I did miss one. Hello there, Matanui. Welcome. Sir Torrent Clegane, good evening, everyone. Welcome, my friend. And Jesse Guajardo. Hey, good to see you, my friend. I said hi to David Pensek, right? Yeah, I did.
Yes, you said hello, David.
And Evelyn Hampton, good evening, everyone. Sipping on an Arizona green tea with cucumber. That sounds really tasty. It sounds really, really tasty. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the brains of the people that live there. That's funny. That is funny.
Oh.
Let's see.
One of my high sweeties went a little weird. Let me remove that and try that again.
Mm-hmm. Critical Thinking and Drinking. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. Yeah, I've been looking at the whole X thing again, thinking about starting a premium membership so I can get back on there. Yeah, I might just do that. Let's see. It's not that expensive, so it might be worthwhile. Greetings and salutations. Absolutely. It's terror time again. You got me running through the night. It's terrifying time. I don't know that song, so I can't do it in meter. Let's see. I sent. Tim sent you welcome, by the way, Tim. Sent Netter a story for tonight from the Smithsonian Magazine. It's called "What Does Human Flesh Taste Like?" The answer depends on who you ask.
Wait a minute.
I guess that is a matter of taste.
There are taste tests going on. Let's not go there.
Could be. I also think it probably matters how you prepare it if you do it all.
I'm thinking pork rinds.
Oh.
Well, it has been called long pork, right? Troy, when it comes to cartoon zombie movies, I go 2 Scooby-Doo Zombie Island and 6 Teen Dude Night of the Living Dead. Okay, fair enough.
I want some beef jerky.
I made some of that.
Yeah, and it was our first attempt. We'll get better as we keep going. And Geek Flag with Nate Knows says, I'm sipping on a Faygo Cola. It tastes like Coca-Cola. There you go.
Good to know.
There you go. If it's made with real sugar, it probably tastes more like Coke than Coke does.
Maybe it does.
Wait, did you say Dago Cola?
Faygo.
Oh, I'm like, it's Italian soda?
No, I think it's a chain store brand, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Could be. They ask people like Jeffrey Dahmer, and they're like, okay, yeah, I guess.
Take what he says seriously.
Hey, somebody that has actually tried it that wants to give a review, you gotta listen to the reviews before you decide whether you like it or
goodness.
not. Welcome, Darth Plato. Believe it or not, we were just talking about cannibalism, but then again, we are talking zombies tonight, so this could surprise you.
Zombies are not cannibals. I'll get into that when we get to the Dawn of the Dead. Oh,
that is a can of bull, my friend. They are absolutely.
We're gonna get into it. As we go
Troy,
along.
I'm eating a Coda float. Okay, cool. Zombies, we talking about California? Well, yeah. All you zombies, no doubt about it. Okay, I think I'm caught up on saying hi to everybody. Blue Wrenches, keep an eye out for anybody new in case I miss that I need to say hi, and give me a heads up.
And please let me know if I miss saying hi, sweetie, to anyone, because actually I think I missed Sir Torin, so I'm going to do that real quick. And Darth Plato.
Sir Torin's not wrong. Jeffrey was something of a connoisseur on the subject.
Oh my goodness.
And Big L's filling us in. He says Faygo Beverage Company is a wholly owned subsidiary of National Beverage Corporation. Started in Detroit, Michigan in 1907.
So I guess it is a bottle. Oh, yeah. So it's a bottling brand. I've never seen them. Okay. They don't have them down south. That could be what it is.
If you'll open up the door, we'll all come inside and eat your brains. Well, I did my research for this week, and I realized that I was going down a rabbit hole. And I could really end up doing a whole. We
could do another top 10 very easily.
No. What I was going to say is I could do a whole stream just talking about the actual real world history of zombies. Not to mention the lore and the mythology behind them.
That could be something at the end of the month, maybe. We'll see.
I've got a lot that I have planned for this month, so
all right. Well, we'll save it. We'll get there.
Nothing says it has to be just in October either. We'll see.
No.
But let me...
Thanksgiving zombies, Christmas zombies.
Thanksgiving and Christmas zombies.
New Year zombies?
Maybe we save it for Easter, right?
Easter zombies.
Rising from the dead and all, right? Okay.
Frankly, I always like zombie movies in the winter myself, like in January. So that might be a time to do it.
Why? Because that's when you know it's safe. It's the ground is
No,
frozen
no,
and they can't come
no.
after you.
For whatever reason, I like the more modern horror movies. By modern, I mean the stuff that we started getting in the 70s and 80s. And so I tend to prefer to watch those during the winter.
Like 28 Days Later and that kind of thing.
Well, like I'm talking about like like David Cronenberg stuff, or I like slasher movies. I tend to watch these things in the winter, whereas in the fall, October, I tend to go with the more classic Gothic movies, like the
Sure.
Frankensteins and the Draculas. But that's not what he said, Tim.
Well, I kind of implied it, didn't I?
Said.
And that comes up every year. In fact, there's this great little cartoon that I saw where they had the nativity set, but they had lost the three wise men, so they replaced them with zombie action figures. And the one brother says, That's just wrong. And the other one says, go shoot for the head, baby Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to help it. No, I probably just get hit by lightning. But then that makes you into a Frankenstein monster, so that's a whole different thing.
Oh, here we go. Outlaw Bill. We'll get to it.
In my area, an 8-pack. Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's actually a really good price. You could probably afford a whole lot of those with the $750 they're giving out in North Carolina. Not that you'd be able to actually buy anything because the stores are empty, but that's a whole other.
Here we go.
28 Days Later is not a zombie movie.
We haven't gotten started yet. Oh man. I was getting into an argument with someone I know about what is and isn't a zombie movie. And of course, I remember I was bringing up one of the movies that almost made my list it was a runner-up, was David Cronenberg's Rabid from, I believe, 78 or 79. But technically, are they really zombies, or are they just people that were infected by this woman that has a parasite underneath her armpit? When she infects people, they become rabid, and they attack other people, and they become rabid. But even though they're sort of like zombies, are they technically zombies if they're not dead, if they're just rabid people?
Okay.
I guess not, but I want to call it a zombie movie.
Darth Plato brings up a great point, and I think that's a great place for me to pivot into the history. A zombie is a mythological, undead, corporeal revenant created through the reanimation of a corpse. In modern popular culture, zombies are most commonly found in the horror genre. The term comes from Haitian folklore, in which a zombie is a dead body reanimated through various methods, most commonly magical practices in religions like Vodou. Modern media depictions of the reanimation of the dead often do not involve magic, but rather science fiction methods such as fungi, radiation, gases, disease, plants,
part of the natural world,
virus, etc. Yeah. Especially since we've been what is the fungus that the ants get that forces them to climb to the top of something and bite down on a blade of grass, and then their head explodes and spores come out.
Oh, the one that Z Frank told us about.
Oh yeah. It's very common, because everyone's so interested in it, and that's what the video game.
Last of Us, I think that's what was inspired The Last of Us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is it technically zombie? Well, no,
right.
But I don't know. Like I said, I have one pick that people might argue if it's a zombie movie, but
the English word zombie was first recorded in 1819 in the history of Brazil by the poet Robert Selby in the form of zombie, Z-O-M-B-I. Dictionaries trace the word's origin to African languages relating to words connected to gods, ghosts, and souls. One of the first books to expose Western culture to the concept of the Vodou zombie was W.B. Seabrook's The Magic Island in 1929.
Ooh, I want to read that now.
There you go. The account of a narrator who encounters Vodou cults in Haiti and their resurrected thralls. A new version of the zombie, distinct from that described in Haitian folklore, emerged in popular culture later, in the latter half of the 20th century. The interpretation of the zombie as an undead person that attacks and eats the flesh of the living is drawn largely from George A. Romero's films, Night of the Living Dead, 1968, which was partially inspired by Richard Matheson's novel, I Am Legend, in 1954. The word zombie is not used in Night of the Living Dead, but was applied later by fans. Following the release of such zombie films as Dawn of the Dead and Return of the Living Dead, the latter of which introduced the concept of zombies that eat brains, as well as Michael Jackson's music video Thriller in 1983. The genre waned for some years. Then we start talking Resident Evil, House of the Dead. We start talking more and more video games. Then we start coming around to comedies like Shaun of the Dead, the concept of the zombie apocalypse, and so forth. Go ahead.
Did you know they did a spinoff of House of the Dead called Typing of the Dead, where if you were on a computer, you would type out words to kill the zombies? It was like a typing instruction as well as video game where you killed zombies. What do you think of that?
There you go. So before we start degenerating into what is a zombie and what is not a zombie, as we would what constitutes a Christmas movie and what is not a Christmas movie.
Oh, please.
You know, welcome Logical Spark. Welcome Mark Melnikoff. I don't think I missed anyone while I was on the other screen, but it basically comes down to what is your personal impression of the zombie. For example, as a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, I think you guys all know that. Back in the first edition Monster Manual, you had two different kinds of zombies. You had the more Romero-esque zombie that was raised by a necromancer. Right? They would raise the zombies. They were not infectious by their bite. The zombie had to be raised by a magic user, and they were relatively easy to kill. They were distinguished from juju zombies, which were more like the Haitian zombies. That's what they were. Juju was just what they were called in Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if that's offensive to the Haitians. Don't really care. I'm just saying what it was. And they were more of the raised by a specific religious act. So that would be like, so in other words, a cleric could raise a juju zombie. A magic user could raise your standard zombie. If there was ever a infected zombie that could transfer the disease, I am unaware of it, but I have no doubt that there were definitely homebrews that made use of that. I thought that was a brilliant idea. In fact, one year for Halloween, I did a You've Got to Survive in the Pub All Night from
The Winchester.
Yeah, from hordes and hordes of zombies. And the characters were high enough level that a couple of zombies were not a challenge, but hordes and hordes of them, the Russian foot soldiers, that's a whole other thing. Welcome Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips, who will be Netter's guest on Thursday.
Yes.
You did miss me. I'm sorry. I really apologize. That's why you guys got to not take offense and don't be afraid to speak up again. Say hi again if I miss you. And welcome Logical Spark. I'm here in Buffalo with a friend. We went to Niagara Falls. Slowly I turn, step by step, inch by inch. That's an old joke. I'd love to know how many of you get that one.
And I want to say hello to Outlaw Bill and Scamflix.
Is it still wrong to put anything in the false? I don't know. You'd have to find that out and let us know. And I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm getting there. Speaking of Haiti, how about for a watch party, Live and Let Die? Yes. Loosely based. There you go.
That was an interesting read, that novel.
There you go. And I think if I was going to do that, I would probably do that back to back with The Serpent and the Rainbow. That's what I would do. Last call to Troy Pacelli. I'd be real afraid if zombies ate some people's brains. They'd go hungry is what would happen, you know?
Yeah, because, there's no intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, everyone, happy Friday. In fact, I would go as far as to say that a lot of the people I interact with on social media seem to be zombies. They seem to have a thinking problem. Let's just put it that way. Oh, you're on empty there.
Yes, I am.
I
don't know if Troy mentioned, but the last 2 days I'd been working on a project in the house. It was very strenuous and time consuming, and it had to do with the unfinished side of our basement where I rearranged everything, but I was also painting the walls and the floor. So trying to move around things and paint was a pain in the butt, but I got the half a room done that I wanted to do. And I'm stopping for now, and then I'll pick it up again around Thanksgiving when I've got a couple more days off of work.
Yeah. This Darth Plato brings up a very by the way, Netter, there's obviously still cream in the refrigerator and a whole bottle of Kahlua.
Yay!
And the bottle of vodka's up there if you want to zhuzh it up, but you could just do Kahlua and cream if you want.
I love Kahlua and cream.
And you have 2 mason jars, one with the gummy eyes and one with the human eyes in it, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah.
Actually, we got red.
Those are those are mega pints, right? No, they're not.
No. Frankenstein ain't no zombie.
You poured yourself a
mega pint of red wine.
Correct.
A mega pint.
Yeah.
I poured myself a large glass of wine.
Remember that? Anyway, is Frankenstein a zombie?
No.
Well, see again.
He's intelligent. He doesn't crave human flesh. He's made from various parts.
Isn't one of the ones on your list one where a zombie starts to recall and understand and start?
I don't know. We'll get into it. I don't think
getting
so.
Into speech, I mean. And in fact, there's a couple on my list that involve.
We're not talking about your list at first. We're talking about.
Okay. It's only my stream.
It's your stream, yeah.
See, I would boot you out, but just like when Deleted Seats booted me out, I came back in and booted him out because that's funny. You can do the same to me here. So
generally, the 1984 Return of the Living Dead, they did the brains. Yes, they also talk in Return of the Living Dead. Remember the scene in it where they send the police officers after them and they eat them, and then the one zombie gets on the horn and says, "Hey, send more cops!" Because they want to eat the brain.
And therein maybe is the place where we want to start getting into the films, because even within that sphere of films, you have the dead films and the living dead films.
Yes.
And the way the zombies work are 2 very different.
Yes.
One, very interestingly, the people die and they slowly begin to degenerate. They slowly begin to lose their mental faculty. And the only way they can maintain their mental faculty is to eat the brains of other human beings.
Interesting.
And that is the Dead series, right? The Living Dead series, on the other hand, they're just completely mindless zombies that just eat flesh. They eat anything. They eat the brains. They eat the cats. They eat the dogs. They eat the people that live there. They eat everything. So you already have a schism there, which is very different from, and there was White Zombie was a movie, and there were I mentioned Serpent and the Rainbow and those voodoo zombies, entirely different kind of zombie. They operate in a very, very different way. They're not all about eating the flesh of the humans. They're basically reanimated corpses to be used as automatons that just obey the commands of the necromancer that created them or raised them or whatever. Yeah. See, I knew Nate would get that one. He and I are real
stuck in
close
the weeds on this.
Yeah. So I I would challenge a lot of people. How is Frankenstein's monster not a zombie if we have zombies being created by scientific means, like, a comet passing over, a virus, a fungus? Why not electricity, reanimating them?
Not a zombie. He's the monster.
An animated corpse.
Listen, when I went to get makeup, listen, I was Frankenstein one Halloween. Okay? It was probably the last time I dressed up.
Here we go. That makes him an expert because he dressed up as him.
And I go to the store and I'm looking for Frankenstein makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking and I see vampire, I see zombie. I'm like, no, zombie, that's not Frankenstein. And then I found one kit buried underneath the wall, the monster with the little spokes you put on the side of your neck. There's your Frankenstein makeup. Different thing. Walmart makeup.
What color was
green.
Boris Karloff's Frankenstein?
Oh, well, I think it meant my makeup. I don't know.
I mean, if you were, I assumed from what you were saying about the bolts on the neck, you were going for the Boris Karloff, right?
Black and white.
He was black and white. Yeah. A lot of people say green. The only reason he was green was because that was a tint on a lobby card.
Oh my goodness.
Did you know that?
Well, whatever. How you know what? It ain't like we can know because it's black and white.
Well, we can if we read the novel. His skin was gray. So he literally was black and white. That's the way he was described by Shelley.
Anyway,
I agree with Agent Boomer. Frankenstein monster would count. Well, no, you're agreeing with me, Jesse, if it would be a zombie, given the fact that the creature learned what he is and questioned that his creator did he not think he think of
the harm he might do.
Of the harm he might do. Okay.
Yeah, he was trying to create a man or something, that's what he was trying to do.
I mean, and when you get down right down to it, what is
image? Yeah.
What is the essence of a zombie? A zombie is literally a reanimated corpse. So Frankenstein qualifies for that, right? That can't die by natural means. Same with Frankenstein. But I think to go any farther, it applies to some zombies and not others. Some are intelligent, some aren't. Some eat brains, some eat flesh, some do nothing of the kind. Ultimately, the simplest definition of a zombie is a reanimated corpse. So literally any reanimated corpse, any revenant could be a zombie.
No. It's like saying the things from Creepshow, like the Nathan Drake coming out of the ground. He's a zombie. No. It's
Wait. The thing from Creepshow, what?
The guy that comes out of the grave. I don't consider him a zombie either.
Wasn't that a mummy?
No. What? No, never mind. We're going to get into our presentation.
Which also brings up, would a mummy also be a zombie?
Okay, someone already asked that question earlier, and I said, "What's the difference?" And I said, "Wrappings." And then I got I think it was Darth Vader, and he said, "That's a wardrobe change."
Yes, it is.
Here's
my excellent point. Oh, that's a great point.
I can't speak for dumb mummies. I almost think sometimes in some of the movies I said the mummy almost acts like a golem. Where you have some guy reciting a spell and says, "Go kill the infidels that have disgraced your tomb," or whatever.
Which is exactly what the Haitian zombies were.
Okay.
Matt Inouye makes a great point, and if I don't bring this up, we'll miss talking about Marvel zombies. Marvel zombies, I always, in my estimation, they were basically the same kind of zombies as from the Dead series. I gotta eat brains in order to maintain my human intellect and stave off the pain of dying or the pain of rotting. Apparently these zombies feel themselves rotting and it's painful for them. And when they eat brains, it temporarily relieves that and allows them to think clearly.
Oh my goodness.
See, there is another one. Some zombies die from a headshot. So if they are the kind of zombie where the central nervous system is still in control of the body, sure. But then how do you get those hands that can move around on their own? See? That's a whole other ball of wax. And actually, getting into the Dungeons and Dragons thing, they have a whole separate category for the animated body parts like that. And welcome, DJ Ronnie G. Good to see you, my friend. I'm typing from my brother's mountain fortress in upstate New York. Well, there you go. There you go. But the house is beautiful. Good. Matanui says, another example I have are necromorphs from deep space. They still count as zombies. I'll take your word for that. I don't know the reference. Night of the Comet had different kinds of zombies. Some were smart, others were feral. Right. How dare you, Troy? You are so wrong. Zombies only generally eat the flesh. Only, come on,
That's true.
Man. Get it right. Oh, well, what if they ate brains? Are they not zombies then?
That was a comedy. Return of the Living Dead's a comedy. Everyone treated that back in the day like this was a serious sequel. It was always meant to be a comedy.
Except that it also inspired Marvel zombies.
That ain't my fault that Marvel lifted from that. The eating the brains thing was meant to be a joke. It's like, what's sillier than eating flesh is creepy? What's sillier? Have them eat the brains. I like the Return of the Living Dead films, but they are meant to be more of a comedy.
Mummies are driven by cursed or of whoever dares defile their final resting place. Yeah, see, that's exactly right.
We're gonna get into that.
They're basically zombies set up with a specific purpose to guard it too.
Okay. Do you remember the Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser and you see Imhotep?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, Imhotep would be considered in D&D to be a lich. He's an undead sorcerer, right? Lich. That's what a lich is, correct?
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, no, I think Matanui makes a great point. Zombies is basically an umbrella term. That's like saying human beings. Are you going to start saying that every race of humans doesn't necessarily count as human? You racist, you. Welcome, Sashi. Retail workers become zombies after continuous. You're not wrong there, my friend.
That was the plot. That was the thing in Shaun of the Dead when they showed Simon Pegg's character and that turned into a zombie because of the daily work that he was doing.
Exactly.
Didn't you see that the way he was acting?
That is a great. There's the opening scene of him going through his morning. And you think he's a zombie until you realize, he's just
doing his job.
And you see these people in the background all just going about their business. Then after the whole zombie outbreak happens,
he doesn't even notice it.
He's doing all the same thing and doesn't even notice. And the people all around him are basically doing all the same stuff they were doing in life. You know?
Is Skeletor a zombie? If I'm going by that one He-Man cartoon, he just got his face melted off. Other than that,
I like this one. Darth Player says mummies are zombies with strict rules. Yeah. I actually was toying around with an idea for a role-playing game where I was going to have it where zombies were basically failed vampires. Something went wrong in the turning, and instead of becoming immortal like a vampire, they continue to degenerate and rot. But they're still driven to try to consume the life force of other beings in an attempt to stave it off as long as possible. The original Frankenstein monster makeup was green because in black and white it made the skin look different from everyone else, but in the movie he was supposed to be gray. Oh yeah, it's just like if you ever saw the set of the Addams Family, it's garish. There's lots of pinks and yellows.
Ew.
Oh yeah.
Because it was filmed in black and white and they needed colors to stand out.
There's an art to black and white. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and if you want to hear more about that, talk to Tom Conkle about that, who filmed Trouble Is My Business. He intended it to be in black and white, but one of the platforms he wanted to show it on insisted it be in color.
Because
So
they
he
didn't
had-
understand the concept of noir.
So he had to think through, how can I do this in color so that it would still look good black and white? So he pulled it off. He pulled it off very, very well. Let's see. Everyone knows that a failed vampire is a ghoul. A ghoul, yes. And in Dungeons and Dragons, again, a ghoul is a completely different thing. A ghoul is like a zombie, but this would be more like your Night of the Living Dead type zombies, where if they bite you, you can become a ghoul like them, and they will, attack and eat your flesh. But they will also eat corpses as well. So that's the D&D twist on it.
There you go.
Those are the ghouls of Helsing Ultimate. Yeah, so the more I like you, Darth Plato. Vampires are thirsty zombies.
Here we go. The meaning. The word has no meaning. Yes. Okay. I know what a zombie movie is, and I got five of them for you right here. Troy has his own 5.
Troy is Helsing Ultimate anime series. When a vampire attacks a person who is not a virgin, they turn into a ghoul. Yeah.
Interesting.
So in Vampire the Masquerade, a ghoul is a living human who has been enthralled through an addiction to a vampire's blood. In order to get more of that vampire blood, they basically have to become an indentured servant, thereby becoming a ghoul. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to our respective lists.
Yes.
Of our. Oh, wait a minute. I did want to go through. Give me a second here. I got to go to my channel, community tab, because I have a list here from Lady Mist. She said her list is Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead, Resident Evil, 28 Days Later, Train to Busan. I've never seen that.
I've heard good things. It's on my to watch list. I think it's a Korean zombie movie, I think. Yeah.
And World War Z.
Yes.
Now, I've heard mixed things, and I think that's basically based on the people that have read the book. And
I thought for what it was fine. You got to see Peter Capaldi was in it before he was the Doctor. It was interesting. Yeah.
There you go.
It was Brad Pitt. It was fine. I didn't think it was bad. No.
But I do know that when we set out to put our lists together, Boomer said only, what was it? Only one film?
I said we could each do only one Romero movie, so we could each pick a Romero movie if that's what you wanted. But I didn't want us to do, because if you pick if you have a top 5 zombie movie list, you're going to end up picking 3 Romero movies. So I limited myself to one for my top 5.
I think
you got confused and didn't do any. So
no, I didn't get confused. I actually felt more strongly about it than you did. I was like, I feel like Romero films are, and it's also why I did not myself choose Shaun of the Dead, or if I did, I think I swapped it out, because these are films that I think everybody always talks about.
You're trying to go for unsung ones, right?
Yeah. That really stand out for me. But yours, interestingly, again, Boomer said, "Well, let's each do 5," and I kind of I imagined it being, well, he'll do one, and then I'll do one. He'll do one, and I'll do one. But he says, "Let's do it chronologically," and it just worked out that all of his came chronologically first, and then all mine were later. So
it did work out until you remove Zombieland in exchange for something else, and then one of yours would have to come first. But we're still doing them as 2 separate lists, because your first came out a year before my last, but we're still going with my 5 and your 5.
That's no, you're right. It would get weird if the last 2 were swapped. That would be kind of weird.
But that's why. But yeah, originally, because you did have Zombieland, but you took it out last minute. So
wow, Evelyn said Train to Busan made her scream. That's gotta be worth the price of admission right there.
Night of the Living Dead 1990 starring Tony Todd. I love that remake. It was
Tony
hard.
Todd and help me out. Who was the one that played Barbara? That pretty
one was on
redhead from
Babylon
Star
5.
Trek and Babylon 5, right? Somebody's gonna get
Redheaded
it.
lady.
Evelyn's probably gonna get it.
She's the one that get punched out by Austin Powers at the beginning of Austin Powers, and he says, "That's not a woman, that's a man."
Was that her? Really?
It was Patricia Tallman. That was
Patricia Tallman. Thank you very much.
And she said, "Can I get you a drink, Mr. Powers?" And then he says, "Sure." And then he punches her, and then they completely change the body. It looks nothing like her.
It looks to me like deleted scenes got it first. Then, well, I think Troy was trying to say it, but he got
Patricia Tallman.
Patricia, and then DJ Ronnie G said Patricia Tallman.
Yeah.
So I knew you guys knew it.
Right.
Yeah, she was also Gates McFadden's a stunt double. She was actually a stunt double in a lot of movies.
I could see her as a stunt double for Gates McFadden. She could be a sister too, but
oh, absolutely.
The redhead.
And but she and of course she was the what do you call it? The telepath in
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5.
Yes.
But I liked the remake of Night of the Living Dead, but they're okay. What? Real quick. I saw it in the theater, right?
Oh, lucky you. I wanted to. I didn't get to at the time. Yeah.
I don't know why I saw it in the theater. I wasn't a huge zombie fan back then.
I was a huge fan of those Romero ones at the time. I was obsessed with them.
Maybe it was because Tony Todd was in it, the whole Klingon
as Ben
aspect to it. But that was part of my problem, though. First, I thought it was goofy and ridiculous when they girl bossed Barbara, right? Because you can't just have her like wig out and go comatose for the rest of the movie. She's got to snap out of it and rip off her sleeves and go all Sigourney Weaver, right? But I could get past that because, well, yeah, it was Patricia Tallman, right? Definitely believable doing that. But what I did not like was the ending. They basically changed the ending.
So
it was so poignant when it was originally done. It was a bunch of rednecks taking this opportunity to express their hate by murdering a black man, right?
No.
It was a good, yes, it was.
They thought he was a zombie.
That's a great excuse, isn't it?
They thought he was a zombie.
It is a great excuse for a bunch of rednecks.
I'm sure certain audience members saw it the way you saw it. There was
I'm sure that's the way it was intended.
I don't know if that was intended. The way
and they said it, and they did it just ambiguously enough.
Yes.
That you might be able to let it pass. But
you
know it was meant to be a racial thing.
I don't.
And they completely erased even the possibility of that interpretation.
Listen to me. You know something. I like the remake a lot. The remake, in my opinion, is a kind of like how you had the Star Trek episode where the Enterprise kept blowing up over and over again, but people seem to have some recollection of past events. That's what it reminded me of. Like these people underneath it, all these characters know they've been through this before. Like how Mr. Cooper and Ben hate each other when they first meet each other. They haven't even known each other long, but they know they don't like each other, right? It's like I really do like the remake, and I thought the ending was interesting. I think it's more. I think in the original, Ben's the main character. I think in the remake, Barbara's the main character, but there's still important people in that movie.
I just feel like they copped out with that.
I like
editing.
both.
It's like
I disagree.
We now and see everything turns around, right? So now everything's got to be woke, right? There was a time when they would do films that had commentary in them that made you think, and you could make that argument that the original Night of the Living Dead, there was a racial element or there wasn't, depends on how you want to interpret it. But then it's like later on, it's like, oh, we can't do that, we got to sanitize everything, so they make making it completely impossible to even consider that race was an issue there. And now,
for starters, the remake's taking place in the 90s, not the 60s at that point, too. Keep that in mind.
You could very possibly still have not only
I want to say
not only
something
racially, but I'll tell you something else. Just like that movie Civil War, there's people today given an opportunity and put a gun in their hand,
okay,
and an excuse.
Yes, perhaps
they will.
Yes,
because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I want to say something based on what I've seen in Romero movies, and my interpretation is I don't think Romero, how we're always, it's the rednecks, the hillbillies, I don't think he portrays those types, those people as bad. If you look at The Night of the Living Dead, especially the remake, how the one guy is more of the rednecky guy. Mr. Cooper's the guy from the city. The rednecky guy is the one who supports Ben, is like, let's listen to Ben. He's not acting racist. Maybe Mr. Cooper, we don't know. And to be fair, again, is it a racial undertone? Is it just a personality thing? They don't
this
like
is
each
actually
other. I don't know. That's
too.
the beauty of it. Okay.
This is a great point too. Deleted scenes points out, regardless of the racial aspect,
yes,
he survived all that time only to be shot by other people.
Do not know the reasons. I always interpret it as it's sad. They just saw something move around. They just assumed it was a zombie.
But regardless of my point is, regardless of the reason, it happened, and that's tragic.
Yes,
and
it is
you
tragic.
Can put whatever meaning you want.
Yes.
That element is taken away by, he's just another one that succumbed to the zombies. He just wasn't the last one this time.
I like the remake. But again, we're getting off on a tangent here, as the remake isn't on either of our lists.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Let's get to that list.
Yes. All right. Let's do mine first. And I am going to start with zombies. Boomer's picks.
Mm-hmm.
First up is children shouldn't play with dead things.
I agree. Don't put those things in your mouth.
Have you seen this movie, Troy? You are a child of the 70s. I'm shocked that your list has no 70s zombies movies on it.
I was late getting to the zombies.
Okay. So this is children shouldn't play with dead things. In fact, I think I might say that this is my first ever zombie movie I saw. I think I saw it when I was really little and freaked me out. Probably too young to be watching it, although technically it is a PG movie, though it doesn't feel like a PG movie. But this was the 70s. Like I made an argument. I think Deliverance was a PG movie in the 70s. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm just saying. You get away with more in a PG during the 1970s. But this, I always credited my first zombie movie as George Romero's Day of the Dead, the one that took place in the underground army bunker. But that I think it might have been Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. This is directed by Bob Clark. Back in 1972. This is after the original Night of the Living Dead. You're invited to Orville's coming out party. It'll be a scream. Yours. Ha, ha, ha. I
noticed that it's PG.
Strange that it is PG. I think it would be a PG-13 today.
Probably.
But I'm surprised this got a PG, but like I said, I think the rating systems were milder back then. This might get an R rating now just because it takes place at night in the cemetery.
We've talked about this before. Back before PG-13 was a thing, there was a lot in PG films that you would not see in a PG film today. There was nudity, there was violence. They could be pretty scary. They just toned down the language, for the most part.
But this is actually, there's some clever language in this. Like, well, let me get into the plot of it. Okay, there's this theater director named Alan, and he decides to take all of his actors to a nearby island near the city where they bury all the criminals. It's like it's like a cemetery for all the bad people, which won't get proper Christian burials, right? And they just dump them on this island. But this is like a bad place, right?
Right.
And he starts saying stuff like to one of the young actresses, says, "As your leader, I'm going to proclaim primal juncture." And she says, "What does that mean?" It means he gets to make it with the Virgin. Too late. I was a Girl Scout. I was a Brownie, and I lost it to a Boy Scout or something. Eagle Scout just says it. And even though it's PG, that's kind of risque dialogue, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's Alan. I gotta give props to this outfit of his. Look at that orange shirt.
Wow, he doesn't even need the lantern. Damn.
Oh, those pants.
Right?
Alan is a grade A jerk. I'm trying to be polite, not use the word asshole. I'm sorry. Wait.
You just did.
He's terrible in this. First, he wants them to dig up a corpse because he wants to have a fun by reading from an ancient grimoire. You know what a grimoire is?
Yes.
Book of spells. And then he starts calling out to Satan that let's raise the dead. First, he has them dig up this corpse, and then the corpse starts attacking this guy named Jeff, which I thought was interesting. And the guy pees his pants, and then it turns out it's just one of the other actors from the troupe that they have disguised as the corpse. A good laugh is had by, well, not everybody, just Alan. Alan's laughing about this. I got him to pee his pants. Anyway, so he goes through the satanic ceremony, right? And nothing happens, and then this other young woman in the troupe does her own thing to Satan, which is kind of humorous, you know. And says, "You've lost Alan," but it doesn't matter. He still finds this corpse named Orville, and he decides, let's go take this Orville to this corpse named Orville to the abandoned house. And he starts making fun of the corpse. They do a fake marriage ceremony, all sorts of things.
Oh God!
And finally, the actors just start getting pissed. I don't care if we're going to lose our jobs, because basically he says, "You don't help me out with this, I'm going to fire you." And I guess it must be a pretty prestigious. I don't know if it's supposed to be New York City or a city like that where it's like a prestigious theater, but like this isn't worth it. But as they go to leave on the boat, suddenly they realize all the dead have come back from the dead and are now coming after them. And then it's about they have to figure out, how do we get out of it? Do we have to is there a reverse spell in the grimoire? So in this case, it is not natural world. This is an evil spell bringing the dead to life. But they
kind of makes you wonder
zombies.
if it was them doing the ritual or if it's just damn friggin' karma.
Or is it just
they
them,
deserve it?
Or is it them doing the ritual and that's how they exist in the Romero movies? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Let's just say the movie ends. Yeah, Alan is an idiot. He's a jerk too. He is so unlikable in this movie. It's like, I mean, have you ever had a boss that would push things on you and you're like, you're going to lose your job, and you're like,
yeah.
But there's the zombie, there's Orville. What do you think of him, huh?
Looks like one of the ones from the Romero films, like the later Romero.
Not long. This wasn't made long after Night.
I could see him in a mall, you know.
Yeah, well, we'll get there, but we're not getting there yet, smart guy. We're not at that transition point yet. Anyway, but children shouldn't play with dead things. You've not seen this?
I have not. No.
I do want to tell everybody, if you have Shudder, it's streaming on there. I also think it's streaming on one of the free services. So you have to watch it with commercials, but you can watch it for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it holds up. It's a great little Halloween movie too. If you want something to watch on Halloween, you could do a lot worse than this. A lot of fun, creepy too toward the end. Things go tits up, as it were. So maybe the kids these days think this was a slow burn, but I liked it. Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. Have you heard of this movie?
I haven't even heard of this one, but I love the title.
Okay, so this is taken from the Spanish title, because this was a Spanish-Italian co-production. The Spanish title is No profanor el sueño de los muertos, which means do not profane the sleep of the dead. I think over in England, this was known as The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. In fact, I think if you buy it on Blu-ray now, it's under that title. But it was known here in North America, in the States, and I guess Canada as well, as a movie called Don't Open the Window. Have you heard of this title, maybe?
Nope.
There was a whole rash of these don't titles in the 70s. Don't go in the basement. Don't turn the corner. You know, all these different. Okay, well, this was Don't Open the Window.
Don't
whatever's outside.
Nails, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Don't Open the Window. Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. Yeah, Tim Hayes, you know this. I own it on DVD and Blu-ray. Tim. I love the original Blue Underground DVD art for this, where it's those creepy ghost things in the background. There's some great poster art for this movie. But here we go. This is about a young man. Hold on. What are their names?
She looks British.
It's supposed to be British. It takes place in England. It's supposed to take place in Manchester, though it really takes place in the British countryside. But that's George and Edna. Edna's trying to go find her sister because I think she's trying to get her sister.
Matanui, it's because it was the 70s.
Yes. Plus, it gets
anyone who ever read Playboy knows that.
It gets you into the drive-in or the grindhouse,
right,
as it were.
Right.
But there's Edna and George. Yeah, they do look English. I don't know if they are English. I think George might have been played by. Let me see. Hold on. Where's the cast here? I always forget his name. Ray Lovelock. And Christina Galbo played Edna Simmons, but she looks English, so that doesn't matter if she was English, right? There you go. But she's going to find her sister. She wants. She's trying to go into the countryside to get her sister, who needs to go into rehab because she's addicted to drugs. Okay.
Did they tell her sister to go to rehab and she said no? Sorry.
Anyway, she accidentally at a gas station backs into George's bike, damages it, and he has to get to some, But she says, "Okay, I'll take you there. It's a little past the place I'm going." But anyway, so they go to the sister's place, but weird stuff is going on in this city. There's some strange people walking about.
I mean, you see somebody with blood on their face and chest, something's not right. Blood belongs inside, not on the outside.
Well, it turns out the British government has created this new machine where if they run it, it makes all the insects in the ground go crazy and attack each other, and the parasites kill each other. Great for crops, right?
Sure.
Except it also may be waking the dead. It also makes infant babies go berserk as well. One of them claws out a nurse's eye in the movie.
Well, okay, so there's some side effects.
Meanwhile, the sister's husband gets murdered by a zombie, and Arthur Kennedy here thinks it's the sister that did it because she's on the drugs. And Arthur Kennedy, this is the brilliant thing about this movie. Arthur Kennedy is playing an Irish-American cop in England. Okay. And you just suspend your disbelief because he has wonderful lines like, "Button up, man, that's a uniform, not a pair of pajamas." And he goes up to and George here is saying, listen, can't you see I have nothing to do with this? And then he goes, "It's a funny thing, whenever there's been a murder, no one had ever had anything to do with it."
Yeah.
So it's like the zombie things are going on, but of course they're not around when the cops show up. So they're thinking it's some kind of satanic conspiracy. It's a great little, probably very bad English dubbing. It's fine. They sound British. That's good enough for me. It's the closest we'd ever get to Hammer Studios doing a Romero style zombie movie. That's the closest you're going to get because it still has a British feel to it, early 70s British feel to it, even though it's a Spanish director.
Lady Mrs. Babies are naturally berserk. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you see one of the nurses clasping her eye and they're like, "Oh yeah, it went after her eye," and I'm like, "Wow, that's not good." Oh, actually, so there was stuff with eyes in tonight's movie because I didn't think about that. You can find it in most places here in the States, at least, as Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. That's the title they're going by now. I do prefer the title Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. It's like another lesson, like children shouldn't play with dead things.
See, I would have thought the British version would have been Live and Let Lie. Sorry.
Don't give Edgar Wright more ideas.
Nothing is sacred tonight.
Anyway, moving along though, that's a real creepy zombie. Apparently, he was a child abuser or something, and like he had been executed, and then I guess his corpse came back to life or something. So that's.
Well, you should have gotten the wood chipper treatment. That's the problem.
Yeah, but he's one of the creepier zombies I've seen in the movie. Actually, I'll say that. The beard. I don't know. It's something about the wet beard that throws me off. I don't know.
Which is the way Dracula is supposed to be portrayed. Just saying.
It's interesting how in later Castlevania games, Dracula's portrayed with a beard.
Good.
It's a nicely trimmed beard, but he has a beard in the future games. That's interesting. Okay. Dawn of the Dead. This is the original from 78.
Now I have
the
to
remake,
admit,
not the Zack Snyder remake. I'm not talking about that.
Although I have seen
my
all of these movies,
yeah,
I get confused. I
What
can
do you
never
mean you get
remember the
confused?
title and which one it goes
Okay.
with. Is this the mall one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I was only going to pick one Romero from my list. It's tough because at different points in my life, Night of the Living Dead has been my favorite, or Day of the Dead has been my favorite, or Dawn of the Dead. But I think Dawn of the Dead, it's hard because I don't want to decry the other Romero movies. They're great too. But this one always hit me because it's in my opinion, one of the few horror movies that I think has an epic scope to it. That's why I throw it on here. There's the poster, when there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Come on, that is a great poster.
I love well, you go ahead. I'll when you get to a scene, I'll comment on it.
I don't have too many picks. I only pick 3 pictures for each movie. But here's what I did, though. I did want to make mention, though, that I'd seen Day of the Dead because I got it out from the public library. Support your public library. They have interesting things. As what, like an 11-year-old boy, you can go check out Day of the Dead, and your mom doesn't realize what she's checking out for you. I used to see this. I used to see Day of the Dead in video stores too, and I always looked at the back cover, and I can't watch that, but you're still intrigued.
Yeah,
because bad stuff's going to happen to Day. So Day of the Dead was my first Romero zombie movie. Then I think I found Night of the Living Dead in a bargain bin, because that was always one of those cheaper VHS tapes because the copyrights got screwed up on that. So I picked up a copy of that. And don't worry, George Romero State. I picked up plenty of legit copies since that copy I first bought. And then there was Dawn of the Dead, which it was in Christmas of '89. I got some Christmas money. That was the same Christmas we got the Nintendo Entertainment System. That was a good Christmas. And we went down to the mall, and I picked up with my Christmas money a VHS copy of this, HBO video on the side, which means it must have been an HBO exclusive. I don't know.
Probably.
And it was
they probably have the distribution rights. Those things were connected back.
Yeah. In 1999, picked it up at whatever video store. I don't know if it was a Suncoast Video or whatever they had in New Jersey, but I picked it up, brought it home, watched it. And this one I remember watching during the winter time. This was, for some reason, it felt like a winter movie to me. Creepy movie. So here we go. This movie is basically about 4 survivors, 2 SWAT team members. Peter is one of them. And also 2 reporters, and they steal a reporter helicopter because basically it's a few weeks after Night of the Living Dead and everything's gone crazy, and they're like, we gotta survive, we gotta get out of here because the government doesn't have this under control. The most terrifying.
Imagine that's how you know it's fiction. The government not having a crisis under control.
There's a wonderful scene in the beginning of the movie where it's I won't say wonderful, more terrifying, when they're in a tenement complex, right? And the SWAT team has to go in there, and it's like, this is like the worst place for a zombie outbreak, is in one of these, and of course one of the SWAT team members is yelling out racial epithets, and he's going nuts. And like you said at the end in this one, it's not clear. This guy is having a field day, getting an excuse to shoot at whatever minorities he wants, and Peter here is the one that takes him out. Dawn, that's the one I can sink my teeth into. It's one of my favorite space Fraggle. I wanted to get a picture of all 4 of them, but oh well. I had another VHS box which had all 4 of them, and of course they're all in their 70s outfits with the bell bottoms and whatnot because it's the height of the 70s. But here we go. Here are the zombies. So they get out of there. They're different creepy events as they're flying over the Pennsylvania countryside. I think they eventually make it to a shopping mall, a shopping center. And this is how Romero came up with the idea for the sequel, because it's like, I'm just not going to do a sequel of Night of the Dead just to make some money. I need a reason to do it. And then his friend was a manager at a shopping mall and let him come in there late at night and go around. And Romero's looking at the shopping mall, deserted shopping mall. He's like, I could do a zombie movie in one of these things. This would be the perfect place for people to hunker down during a zombie apocalypse, right? Because you have food.
Yep.
You have electricity. If it's nuclear, you still have electricity, right? Or at least that was the idea, because they're running, how do we still have power?
Yep.
And and it's you just have to get rid of the zombies or hoard them off, and you can live like a king for months or maybe years on end. You never know. Okay.
Yeah.
Got a video arcade in there. You got a movie theater. You got what else do you want? This is exactly what you don't want to see when your elevator door opens up.
Yes, because you let people off first, then you can get on.
Very funny, man. Look at this. This is in the trailer for the original movie. There's a wonderful,
Let's
like,
face it, this
short
is
trailer.
what all of us who've ever ridden in elevators in a commute to work, this is what you see all the time. You're going to get off, and then suddenly, it's like, let me out first.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is I mean, I'm telling you, whenever you watch these movies, whether it be night, day, or this, your mind is with the protagonist, and you're kind of in survival mode yourself, right?
Yeah.
How would I be dealing with the situation? Are they making the right decisions?
That
How would I be?
is what is great about not just horror films, but especially survival horror films. Yelling at the screen, no, don't go in there. Don't back up into that dark room unarmed, alone,
Well, it kills me because the helicopter pilot, he's good at flying the helicopter, but he's terrible with a gun, and like he's trying to shoot at things, and you hear ricochets going off in this one movie he's in. It's like he's gonna get everyone killed, and I started out not even liking in the beginning. I grew to like him through the movie, though.
Yeah,
I don't dislike any of the four main characters in this movie. It's not like it doesn't really have a central villain.
Yeah,
like a lot of the other Living Dead movies have. It does have the biker gang at the end. I guess they're sort of the villains,
One thing I do want
a big fight with a biker gang in the mall complex.
The one thing I do want to point out about this, and I suppose this scene is as good as any, is by setting it in the mall, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was before people started coining the phrase and talking about it, but the concept of the liminal space, right?
Yeah.
This idea of being in, like, for example, a shopping mall when there's no one else around. You're used to seeing it during business hours when it's fairly crowded. You're not used to walking through it when there's nobody,
Yeah. Let
and
me
that
tell
can be
you
creepy
something.
in and of itself.
There is nothing, I know this by experience in recent years, there's nothing creepier than walking around a middle school or a high school at night when no one's around. Okay. Yep. It's a little nerve-wracking. It kind of reminds me of Dawn of the Dead here, but great movie. I highly recommend it. It's not just one of the best zombie movies ever made. It's probably one of the best horror movies ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be in my top 10 horror movies for sure. And it's a wonderful time. Like I said, in my opinion, I feel it does have an epic scope to it as well, because you're seeing things beyond what you saw in Night of the Living Dead. They're showing you like other parts of the country as they're going.
Yeah.
And there's a wonderful discussion where you get to see people watch stuff where they're watching things on TV, and there's this one scientist, and he goes, "They are not cannibals. They aren't eating each other. They only eat us. They do not feed on each other. They feed on us." He was trying to say, you need to stop. These are not our loved ones. You need to start treating these things as like a different species almost. Okay, that's how you need to look at them. Of course, then later on, he recommended that, I can know how to triple food supply. How? Well, we start eating the zombies.
Yeah, but then that raises the question, do you get infected by eating the zombies?
That's what I wonder. Was the guy who wrote what was it? World War Z? Was that Max Brooks, I think? Did he say did he say that somebody tried eating the zombies once and that didn't go well? It was some author who came up with the idea that wouldn't turn out well if you decided to start using the zombies for food.
Yeah.
But exactly. I wonder how they stay fresh so long though, huh?
Well, do they really look fresh to you? I mean,
it depends on the zombie, I guess.
Well, and it depends on the specific, because like these, Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, it's fairly early on, right? These are recently deceased corpse. Things like The Walking Dead and whatnot, you're going years and years. So the bodies get more and more decomposed.
Walking Dead, I'll be blunt, I don't know how many years they are into the zombie apocalypse, and that I would figure just wear and tear of the elements would be having these things fall apart.
Well, do they have the handbook for the recently deceased?
Yeah, well, there you go. There's that element of it too. Right?
I remember one scene on The Walking Dead, which was funny though, because I think a bunch of zombies came out and they were waterlogged somewhere, and they came out, and I think Abraham, the redheaded dude, he just turned a hose on them, and they completely disintegrated, which I thought was funny. I thought
it kind of makes sense, right?
But that's why I was wondering why over time isn't this happening with more of the zombies? Because I would figure over time the cold
Exactly. If in Midwest and North, you'd think they'd freeze.
Dude,
they would be completely immobile, even if they were still alive in those frozen bodies.
I'm going to Alaska. I'm going someplace cold if the zombie.
Well, but remember, you can have months and months of darkness there, so then you got to deal with the vampires.
Funny. Actually, I only watched the first season of this, but there was that Z Nation show, I think it was called, where the one army guy was stationed out in some outpost. Maybe it was in Alaska or Siberia or someplace. It was like watching all this stuff unfold. All right, next up is Zombie. You don't know this one?
Nope.
You know this cover? I'm sure you've seen it.
I've seen it, yes.
I
haven't seen the film. I've seen this cover, yes.
Oh, my goodness. See, I'm giving you movies to watch.
Oh, yeah, you are. No, that's the whole point of this, yes.
So this is the original Zombie. So over in Italy, director Lucio Fulci was making a zombie movie. And when Dawn of the Dead was released in Italy, they called it, they didn't call it Dawn of the Dead over there. They just called it Zombie. Okay, when they released it in Europe. So then the producers behind this movie said, we're going to call ours Zombie 2. And it was ZOMBI 2, not ZOMBIE, which was the name of the Romero movie in Europe.
Gotcha.
So they cut a little fast and loose. When it was released over here in the States, it was just called Zombie. We are going to eat you. You like that tagline, huh?
Not very thoughtful, but yeah, I suppose it works.
Not very thoughtful. It's a zombie movie. This movie, if you get the DVD of it, has one of the greatest audio commentary tracks I've ever heard for a movie. You know, where the directors and the actors talk about the movie they worked on.
I can actually answer this question. Space Fraggle says, why do we never see zombies defecate? I mean, they eat all that flesh, but they never poop. Well, it's interesting you say that, because there's a number of things, including The Walking Dead and some other movies, where you will see zombies gorge itself and its stomach is distended because
and
of
it
all
will
that
eventually burst. I think I read
burst.
I think that wasn't an RPG module for the game Chill.
Oh, I remember
zombies.
Chill.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think they said eventually what would happen to the zombie stomachs would just eventually burst.
But they will continue.
But then they
eating,
would
and it'll
continue
just
to
keep
eating because
falling
that's
out.
not why they eat.
Yeah.
It's an impulse.
Yep.
And it's funny. The scientists in Day of the Dead, which is probably the closest we've ever gotten to people trying to figure out what the zombie thing is about, is that he was actually figuring
give me
out.
a break. I haven't gotten to mine yet. I bet I come up with some you guys haven't heard of.
Anyway, it's okay. We're This is what this is all about. I've not seen every zombie movie either. I haven't seen Train to Busan, for instance, and that one's been getting a lot.
I don't know about a tick, Curtis, but I've even had mosquitoes on me, and if you pinch and pump, they'll go bzzz.
Anyway, so the movie surrounds itself around a reporter. It's a British reporter working in America, played by a famous British soap actor, Ian McCulloch, and apparently he was very popular on the soap in England that was, I guess, streamed all over, shown all over Europe. Mm-hmm. Big star over there. He was a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company. So of course he's going to end up in an Italian, gut muncher zombie movie, because that's what happens when you're in the Royal Shakespeare Company when you want to make some money. Anyway, what was funny about this though is that he recounted his stories of making this movie, about how they had to shoot some scenes in New York City at the beginning of the movie, and about how maybe the Italian director didn't necessarily have permission to film scenes of the movie in New York City, because you have to get all sorts of permits and stuff, or you could just kind of sneak around. He said they think that they had a janitor let them into a newspaper building.
Wow.
And he swears this is what happened. They were setting up cameras in the middle of a meeting, which he thinks was being run by Rupert Murdoch. And Rupert Murdoch stood up and looked at the ball and he said, "Who the fuck are you? Fuck off." Apparently the janitor got fired because he let them in. It was not a good scene. Just, oh man.
That is funny. Hope they got that on camera. That would
I
be
don't
something to
know,
hold
but
on
they
to.
did get some scenes in the newspaper building. I think of it like he was actually working at the newspaper.
Cool.
I don't know.
Cool.
This is the movie that has the famous zombie versus shark scene.
Sure, why not?
Haven't you ever been curious who would win in a fight? Jaws or a zombie? Come on.
I will stand here and listen to this besmirchment. The Zombie Shakespeare Company is the premier zombie acting troupe in the world. He's probably right.
Anyway, you have a zombie versus shark. You got topless swimming in it.
Awesome.
You got
any of that in here?
No, you got a woman getting a wood splinter shoved in her eye. I mean,
Wow.
this is just this is definitely to the explanation for why the zombies are coming to life on this island is that it's a kind of a mixture of like Haitian mysticism that's bringing the zombies back, and the scientists are exploring it. So they kind of go with the whole Haitian, the whole what do you call it? The Caribbean, like those island religions, right? That are
right.
dealing with these bringing these zombies back. Though they never quite explain how it works, but
right.
It's going on in the background, and it's some creepy stuff. I mean, come on, look at these zombies, man. How'd you like to walk into a room where they're having a little feast there, huh?
Yep.
Anyway, that is Zombie. It's considered a classic by many. I think if you get the recent Blu-ray, Guillermo del Toro does a intro for it. But yeah, this is many people's favorite zombie movie, and that's fine. But I'm a big Lucio Fulci fan. But a zombie shark, that's a good question. After the zombie attacks the shark, does the shark turn into the zombie? I'll say,
I guess it depends on what it is that's causing the zombieism. And if it's something like a fungus or a virus or something like that.
It's interesting. When Zack Snyder was doing his remake of Dawn of the Dead, whatever issues I have with that remake, which I know people love, but he did want to do a scene with a zombie dog.
Uh-huh.
And the zombie dog ignored the humans, but would attack a regular dog.
Interesting.
Which would have been an interest. He didn't get a chance to shoot that scene, but that was an idea he was playing around with. But here, going off, we have Planet Terror.
Yeah.
Now we fast forward quite a few years. This is the Robert Rodriguez, and this is where I get people in the chat are going to start screaming at me. Yeah, this is a wonderful movie, which I still consider a zombie movie, though some people are going to say, no, they're mutants. Okay, whatever. This is actually a riff on an Italian movie called Nightmare City, which was I remember, I think it was Quentin Tarantino found the director Umberto Lenzi and said, "You made a great zombie movie there," and he got really angry. And the director, "Now, what are you talking about, zombie?" Because I think they were radioactive people, like mutants. But he says, "Those aren't zombies. It's not the same thing," But this is sort of a riff on that. But I consider this an action comedy. Have you seen this movie?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. But this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful movie. I think that's Marley Shelton there as Dr. Dakota Brock. Josh Brolin's in this as Dr. William Brock. Remember that? Mm-hmm. The dialogue in this movie is brilliant. But here's our cast of characters. There's Freddie Rodriguez. There's Rose McGowan.
Yep.
I forget that actor's name. This is
the one where Rose McGowan has the automatic weapon for a leg, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is just it's a wonderful zombie comedy, a lot of action in it. I want to see Planet Terror. I recommend it to you.
It's a good one,
they get a little cameo by Quentin Tarantino in this movie. He was annoying me in this movie too.
There we go. Yeah.
There's the machine gun for the leg. The funniest scene in this movie is when, for starters, she's a go-go dancer in the beginning of the movie, right?
Right.
And and I remember the what was it? The guy running the go-go dancing place, and he goes, "You keep crying during your routines. That's go, not cry."
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, though, but Tarantino's character keeps calling her, "I've never seen a one-legged stripper." I've seen many things, but I've never seen a one-legged stripper. And she goes, I'm not a stripper. I'm a go-go dancer. And then she cracks her wooden leg across his head and then shoves the splitter piece in his eye. That's how that happens.
Oh
And
God.
then a piece breaks off it. And I laughed at that. That was the funniest part in this movie.
Troy
there are a
says,
lot of funniest parts in this movie.
I'm going to need to rewatch this episode and get these titles. I want to see these movies. Yep, that's the whole point of a stream like
Robert
this.
Rodriguez did this. This was originally shown as part of the Grindhouse double feature movie when they decided we're going to do 2 movies and show you some fake trailers. The idea was to replicate the Grindhouse experience.
Some of the trailers got turned into movies too.
Thanksgiving did. Werewolf. I'm still waiting on Werewolf Women of the SS with guest star Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu. Remember that?
I know. I want that one so bad.
And I think Rob Zombie did make it into a comic book, so maybe eventually he'll do it as a movie. I don't know. And of course, Edgar Wright did the Don't for trailer. What was it though? Machete was made into a feature. In fact, that was supposed to be. There were 2 Machete movies made.
Yes.
And that was supposed to be. He made a point that they always did black exploitation movies. What about Mexican exploitation movies?
Right.
Make a Mexican exploitation movies. But yeah, Robert Rodriguez did this movie. It's brilliant. It's very funny. Bruce Willis shows up at the beginning, and like suddenly all the creepy like John Carpenter-esque music kind of dials down, and like he takes his mask off and he's about to say something, and then he says, "Where's the shit?" That's his first line of time. There's a thing where Rose McGowan is arguing with Freddie Rodriguez, and she says, there's a difference between being frank and being Dick.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
That was very clever dialogue, because it's like, yes, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's like, brilliant zombie comedy, plenty gory. I used to have the soundtrack on CD. I think I
was thinking that. I was like, where have I seen him? Where have I seen? Oh, that's right. It was Lost, right?
Yeah, but if you're a fan of like Robert Rodriguez style Quentin Tarantino movies, also a fan of a lot of these 1970s zombie movies, this is kind of an homage to it. Michael Bihn's in it as the sheriff. So is Tom Savini shows up in this too, the makeup effects artist for all the Living Dead movies. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend Planet Terror. It's a good time. And if you buy it by itself on Blu-ray, you get the extended cut, which has more scenes.
Yeah,
but you get to see the sheriff and his brother arguing about what the best barbecue recipe is, because it takes place in Texas, so that's a big thing out there. Just classic, a modern classic. My favorite of the zombie comedies, but there are a lot of great zombie comedies out there. Okay, that's it for me. Look at that.
There you go.
I want to talk some more, but it's time for Troy. Let's get rid of you. Okay. Now this is Troy's picks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen any of these, but let's move along. Troy's picks.
Yeah.
Fido,
you see it right here over my shoulder. I'm thinking about doing this as one of the 2 for Monday. If you guys find it to be interesting. So this one I think would appeal a great deal to those of you that are fans of Fallout. I think it's got that kind of
what, 1950s vibe?
1950s kind of, yeah. So imagine this. It's the 1950s, and so basically the storyline from Night of the Living Dead happens. The dead all become zombies, but at least I don't know about other countries, but at least in the United States, they overcome, they adapt, they don't want their way of life to change. So of course they teach all their kids how to fire guns, which was actually something they did right up into the 70s. Part of your public education was learning to shoot a gun and how to treat it and take care of it, and home defense, and the way it was always intended to be. So you learn all these rules about dealing with zombies, and zombies are treated like indentured
Pets?
servants or pets or slaves, or however you want to use them. Let's just put it that way. Some people don't use them in the most wholesome of ways.
Charlotte the werewolf is in the chat.
Oh, welcome, Charlotte. Good to see you.
Hey, you know what that reminds me of? There's a deleted scene from the Dawn of the Dead remake where you see a bunch of high school kids, and it's like, oh, they find like this teenage girl or like this girl their age that was turned into a zombie, and like they have like a football. I think the guy has a football helmet on her. They put a football helmet on her, and they come on, do her, and then of course the helmet comes off and she bites him or something. You know?
Yeah, so here the technology is
that's
that they have
necrophilia,
these,
isn't it?
Pardon me?
This is what you're saying is what I think you're saying. Isn't that necrophilia?
Yeah, so there's a guy across the street who keeps a young girl, and yeah, it's
That's disgusting.
But you see this collar, and this is why they call him Fido, right? This is Billy Connolly, right? The very famous Scottish stand-up comedian, right?
Right.
And he, again, these are non-verbal, right? Zombies, but it's very clear that they have a degree of intelligence and self-awareness. And the technology in this collar is that it's kind of like a dog shock collar, right? You know, where you could zap them if they
Leo had on Twin Peaks.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Like Leo had on Twin Peaks. Exactly. And you get zapped if you're behaving badly. So you try to bite or whatever. Well, it also has a bit of a tranquilizing effect. So they don't attack when they're wearing the collar. So you can treat them as a pet, you can treat them as a servant or what have you. And it becomes a status symbol. Well, the Joneses across the way have a zombie. I need to get a zombie too to keep up with them, right?
Right.
So there you go.
Is that Carrie-Ann Moss?
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And
that's the guy who played Dr. Connors in the Spider-Man movies. I keep forgetting his name.
Exactly. Yeah. And you start to find out, this is one of those stories that the world building is done en medias res, and you have to, from conversations and whatnot, fill in what's happened. And there was a war against the zombies, and there's a lot of people that fought in that war that have a bit of PTSD and so forth.
I don't want those things in my neighborhood.
There's that kind of stuff too. And yes, it does become a whole, racial kind of vibe and whatnot.
They need to do one thing, drop over,
But then, of course, there's people that realize that there's real people in there. In fact, this is very much a comedy, but it's got its horror elements, and it's got its very thought-provoking elements. Billy Connolly, for example, well, I don't think this is a spoiler because it's what makes the story happen. Something goes wrong with Billy Connolly's Fido's collar. And it stops working, only to find out that he still doesn't attack. He doesn't need the collar in order to continue to function. So one of his owners says, well, legally you still have to always wear a collar. It's very much like the whole dog collar thing. Legally you still have to wear it. So they go to somebody who can make the lights light up, but he can still take it off anytime he wants. Specifically because there are some people that like to they enjoy inflicting the pain on the zombies. It's an interesting thing, and you realize that a lot of these zombies are evolving, starting to have little bits of memory of their previous life. For example, there's this one point where Billy Connolly sees somebody and he's going at him like this, and you think he's attacking. No. he wants a cigarette. He remembers.
That's funny.
He remembers that he enjoyed smoking. In fact, that's why he died. He had a heart attack. He's able to communicate that he died from a heart attack.
Well, oh my goodness!
It's
Tell
very,
me
very...
that Carrie Ann Moss doesn't do it with a zombie in this movie. Is that a spoiler? You don't have to answer that question. Okay. Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
I'm going to say that it's not quite like that. There seems to be a relationship develops. Whether or not it becomes physical may be up to your interpretation.
Dude, man. There was a Masters of Horror involving that, which I'm not going to get into here.
But it's a good movie. It is absolutely, and I really do think that you guys might enjoy. I think this is going to be one of the Monday night.
I've heard good things about Fido.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Yes.
Dude.
Similar one, yes.
I got to ask something because I never saw this movie. I'm thinking this is Twilight meets zombies. That's what I thought this was.
There is that element, but it is way better. It is way better. It is not. It is not that kind of a.
Look at that. This was a YA novel, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know the backstory behind where it came from.
Oh my goodness.
But this is a story where, again, you've got a zombie who kind of becomes self-aware and breaks off from the pack, and but this one is able to speak.
Now, this one you get to hear the zombies' thoughts, though. I remember the trailer, right? You actually get to hear that the zombies are sort of like
you are basically seeing it from this particular zombie's point of view. And
so
again,
is the idea that the person is still there, but they're not in control of their body and the instincts going on? Is that what?
At first, for him, that's the case.
Okay.
And eventually, he is able to regain control, and not all of the zombies can. Some of them can, some of them can't. The question is, what can we do to help him?
Nicholas Hoult plays the lead zombie. Do you see what she's holding in front of him?
Brought up that particular
because
one.
That's the movie I showed earlier as one of my picks.
I love that movie.
Yep. That is So this is the other one I want to couple with Fido. I think they play off of each other pretty well. One taking place in the 50s, one taking place in modern day.
Now, is this a brain-eating zombie, or is this like a flesh-eating zombie?
I believe it was flesh-eating. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes. So I would figure brain-eating might be sexier. I don't know, but.
Oh, no. Yes, absolutely. Troy's right. I had actually forgotten this element. When they eat if they get around to eating your brains, they obtain memories.
See. So they'll eat anything, but then they eat the brain, they get the victim's memories.
Exactly.
Is there a bit of a budding romance here between this
he
lovely young woman
ends up
and
eating her boyfriend, I believe is what it was.
But then but I guess she thinks he's not bad looking himself, right? I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, for a dead guy, he's pretty good.
Wasn't John Malkovich in this movie too from the trailer? Wasn't he the guy leading the Human Survivors or something? I believe.
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I only saw it the once. I remember enjoying it a great deal. Definitely want to watch this again on Monday.
So this is Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies.
And I guess that's kind of a double entendre because it's like cold body, warm heart, cold hands, warm heart, right?
Exactly.
So you would definitely recommend this, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to
watch if you want, you can watch it along with me on Monday. Yeah.
Brains. Okay, but it's got a great cast though. Nicholas Hoult, he's a good actor there. Who will be playing Lex Luthor in the upcoming Superman movie, right?
Well, he's between this and Renfield. I think he's definitely proven the chops.
He was the young Beast in the X-Men prequel movies. He played the younger Beast.
There you go.
Kelsey Grammer played him in the more modern versions.
And talking about sexy beasts, there we see Maria with T and Telly. She says,
that.
Beautiful people. Yes, welcome, Maria. Thank you.
You a fan of
my sister from another mother?
I was going to say sister from another mister.
Maria, do you have a favorite zombie movie?
I'll bet you she does. This is definitely her kind of a thing.
But that's Warm Bodies. That's your second one.
I love that movie.
Okay.
Life After Beth. This is one that I thought that Big Al would like, because this one is an Aubrey Plaza.
Is this Warm Bodies just reversed, except with a guy and a girl? What's going on here?
This is more of the the zombies retain their humanity and slowly lose it over time.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah. This is a very comedy turned tragedy sort of zombie film.
Yeah, she looks a little feral there, but here she looks okay.
Yes.
Little gray around the gills, but
Yeah, this is, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but this is one of those ones that very, very tragic in that whole see, Maria says comedy ones like Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, that almost made your list, didn't it, Troy?
It almost did, but it was
so did Zombieland.
So yeah, and Zombieland as well. But I know those were ones that are so well known. A lot of you guys have already seen it. I wanted to share some of these ones that just bring something different to the zombie genre. And this one is one of those ones where, because it starts out as a comedy, you're thinking, okay, this is cool. You're on board, and then it starts to get more and more, less and less comedy, more and more horror. With a very, very tragic ending.
Oh, The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. I thought about that one.
This is another one of these things where, do I count it as a zombie movie? Some people do.
Are the Dead?
It's also demon possession going on there. So
exactly,
I don't know.
Exactly.
It's definitely a classic, though. I do love The Evil Dead a lot, though. Yeah.
In a way, I would say that Life After Beth is, again, that whole play on life after death, life after Beth.
Stan versus Evil? I don't know if I've seen that one.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good one?
That is a pretty good one. Life After Beth is one of those ones where you're rooting for those kids. Oh,
those really, crazy kids.
And it's like,
it's like Romeo and Juliet.
Kinda, and you realize it's just not gonna work out,
But I get it's Aubrey Plaza,
It's Aubrey Plaza, yeah. And she plays it. She brings her very, very Aubrey Plaza-esque element to it in a way that only she would fit this role. It's like her brand of weird, right?
Yeah, but no, she's great. I've liked her in most things I've seen her in, I think. So yeah, but
Darkwood Presents says horror can be comedy.
Sure.
In war, my dad told me that there was always a natural paranoid where they laughed about the horrors of war just to break the tension. Yeah, it's kind of a coping mechanism.
And even regular horror movies, so even the ones that aren't the horror comedies, they might have a comic element in there at some point. Like even in Dawn of the Dead, there's a scene where Flyboy says, when he's looking down at the zombies in the mall, says, this was an important place in their lives. That was kind of a joke, because they had nothing else going on but going to the
mall, and I've made this comment about Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Mm-hmm. There's some incredibly dark elements implied, not stated outright until maybe the later films. But Freddy's ability to speak, which sets him apart from like Michael Myers and Jason, he's got some witty lines, but it's like you're laughing, ha 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 ha, it almost makes it a little scarier in a way. And that element of gallows humor really does bring something to it. It's almost scarier because it's comedy. Yeah. And Army of Darkness, that's the third in the line where it's like they're just it's comedy.
That has a great trailer when he goes, "Your shoelace is untied." Remember, and he knocks the guy in the face because it had never been tried before at that point in history, right? When he sells the knight, "Hey, your shoelace is untied," and then he looks down because when he pulled that trigger.
Because he's like, "What are you talking about?" Exactly.
But the original Evil Dead was not supposed to be a comedy. You're correct, even though some people interpret it as, because Bruce Campbell kept getting tossed around a lot. I think that's why they did that remake a few years ago by Fede Alvarez, where they did it more straight,
to make
straight
it
up
far
horror.
More evil. Yeah.
Exactly. That was an interesting remake because it wasn't a remake because they didn't have any of the same characters in it, but it did the whole thing with the cabin in the woods and there being the Book of the Dead out there, because it was interesting. It was an interesting movie. All right, but Life After Beth, but it looks like they're smiling at least there, right? Well, the world's coming to an end. It looks like
Well, yeah. Oh, it stains.
What is this? I've never heard of this movie.
Okay, this is I
like it already for some reason, but
it's an interesting take on the zombie genre, where you have a girl in Las Vegas trying to get to the airport. It's definitely one of those kind of survival films. It gets kind of on the nose about that because she's also got to get through the desert, right? So that brings other elements to it. You've got some people that don't know what's going on. You've got others that do.
Does she know what's going on?
At first, no. She doesn't know. Think of it this way. If you were in a zombie apocalypse situation, we all imagine, well, we'd know what to do because we've seen all these movies. What if there's never been those kind of movies, or you'd never seen those kinds of movies? You did not know this was going on yet, right? This is definitely this falls into that kind of subgenre that Life After Beth does, where there's a lot of humor, but it starts getting pretty real towards the end. So she starts to learn the rules as she goes, right? And she figures out that these zombies are dumb, right? They are attracted like kind of like sharks. They're attracted to the smell of blood. So you can use that as a what do you call it? Like
to lure things out.
Yeah, like exactly. Or to distract
like showing the water or something. Or
exactly. Especially when she realizes that what they are attracted to is the fact that she's menstruating.
Ooh.
Yeah, there is some kind of gross from the point of view that some men might see this as pretty gross, but I think the women would look at that and go, "Hey, that's very clever."
Well, with the women, it's a natural process. Stop being a big baby. That's usually the reaction they have.
And that's clearly what this character, realizes. And there's this whole element of she's up on this rock. The zombie can't get to her, but she's got to. You almost see the thought process of like somebody who is in a video game. Okay, how do I get out of this circumstance? What do I do? What resources do I have? How
at my disposal?
How can I distract this zombie? I think most of y'all, based on the other things I've said previously, can kind of figure it out. Very, very, very clever. But again, I will tell you, this one works a lot. And I'm trying not to give away endings.
Right.
But
don't give away the ending because I'm going to want to watch this one.
Because this one, kind of like Life After Beth, doesn't really have a happy ending for all those involved. I mean, there some do, but just
there is very rarely a happy ending in a zombie movie. The best you can hope for is an ambivalent ending where they.
And at the very least, what happens is she's got a sister she's trying to get to, and niece, yeah, that she's trying to check on and rescue, and it's a mixed bag. There's some serious tragedy, and again, you have from her point of view, you have to fill in what's happened, and some of it's very tragic, some of it's very hopeful. So there might be a happy ending for some of the people involved. You definitely, this is one you really kind of want to watch.
Marie,
but no, you might be disappointed with the ending or not happy with the ending,
Marie is mentioning, have we seen Dead Alive, the Peter Jackson movie, and The Art of Excess? I've not seen Art of Excess. I have seen Dead Alive. Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah.
The zombies in that. Jackson got very creative with the zombies in that. There's is there a zombie, I want to say sphincter in that? like just a thing that's farting in your face. There was some weird stuff in that movie.
It does get weird.
If you want to see some of the most outrageous effects you've ever seen in a movie, try watching Dead Alive. It's an interesting one. Yeah. Australia, no, New Zealand. My mistake. New Zealand. Yeah. Different
exactly.
place, different country. Sorry.
Now, something else I got to point out to people, a little peek behind the last call curtain, is this topic was very much Boomer's idea. Yes. And he says, yeah, you can tell me your list and I'll put together the slideshow. So, and he wanted this information like last week. So I got him this over the weekend.
Yes.
Which gave me plenty of time as I focused on setting up other streams and working with deleted scenes on the Twin Peaks thing and getting all that set up. And now I'm going to be working with Netter. She made me an admin on her StreamYards, so I'm going to be able to help her with her streams more directly. And so over the course of the week, I kind of forgot what was on my list. So after going, I'm like,
kept changing.
Yeah, I did. That's true. I did change.
You took Zombieland off. I was shocked by that. Everyone loves Zombieland.
At one point, I had two movies listed. I listed the same movie twice.
But you also had Shaun of the Dead, so you had to get rid of that one because I said 5.
And then he said, "You've got an extra one, and you got to get rid of one." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so I did take out Shaun of the Dead. And then I realized
Zombieland.
I wanted to swap out. There was one I wanted on the list, and I was like, okay, I think Zombieland is the one that I'm going to have to cut because I think most people know Zombieland already.
It's funny though.
It is.
Let's head over to the Winchester for a pint.
And Shaun of the Dead was the one that I think I had that on there twice, and I was like, I got to take that off. People, that one, enough people know that movie. So.
I remember when the trailer for that first aired, and it starts out, and you hear that little music cue from the original Dawn of the Dead, the creepy music, and then suddenly you see Simon Pegg. It's funny. George Romero was a big fan of Shaun of the Dead. He even had Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg guest as zombies in Land of the Dead. He was a big fan of Shaun of the Dead. He was very happy.
Brilliant. It's like, yeah. Yeah, some of these scenes that you put in here, I'm like, I want to tell you what's going on in the scene, but I don't want to give too much away.
Anyway, she seems like she's saying, I got something over on you. We'll see. Anyway, should we get to the last movie, I think, on your list? I forget what it was now. Oh, wow.
The Apocalypse. This is the one that I think a lot of people might already know. If you don't, I did mention Serpent in the Rainbow earlier, Maria, when we were talking about the whole Hades.
That's a good one. That's more like the classic zombie, though.
More going back to the origins of zombieism.
That's a great movie, though. That's a Wes Craven flick.
Well, what do you want? What do you want? I want to hear you scream. Yeah. Oh, that's a good
No, movie. He I don't know what was scarier, the supposed magic or just the bad guy in it, just without the magic. They were both scary.
Yeah.
This was a nasty warlord.
So the other element of Anna and the Apocalypse, I think you can kind of guess.
It was a musical.
It was a musical.
Candy cane? What is that going on?
And it's also one of those, kind of Nightmare Before Christmas, horror / Christmas kind of thing. Opening scene. Again, this is another one kind of like Shaun of the Dead, where she's bopping along. She's got her ear pods in or whatever, and she's listening to a tune and she's bopping. As I recall, I think you're hearing the song she's hearing, and you're seeing what's going on behind her in the background, all this crazy ass stuff, and she's completely oblivious to it. And there's like this one scene where like the zombies coming at her, and because you're the audience, about zombies. They don't know. They don't get what's going on with the zombies. But of course, the audience does. And the zombie's coming to get her. Right. And it's just about to get her. And I don't remember, it gets hit by a car or something. And she's completely, again, she doesn't even know she just missed getting taken out by a zombie. It's pretty wild stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a snowman, which may not be a snowman. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, this is one of those, like, because it's Christmas, it's Christmas time. Of course, it's a frosty type of costume type of thing. So imagine like if zombies attacked and the people that worked at Disney World, got it. And so like the guy inside Mickey is all zombified. That's kind of the situation you've got going on with this. And yes, part of it being a musical is because they're putting on like a holiday pageant at the school. And there's all the dynamics about the schools. Yes. One of the big, through songs is There's No Such Thing as a Hollywood Ending. And this is partly based on the director of the, and you really get into the characters with this, because the whole zombie apocalypse thing put aside, these characters have these stories that you care about in their elements, and you also hate some of these characters, and you probably know people in your life that are like these characters, and you're like, I want that one to get eaten by the zombies. I just do,
It's never the people you want to get eaten by the zombies that get eaten by the zombies, though, right?
Well,
if Walking Dead is any indication of that,
it takes you can't have the bad guy get killed in the beginning, right? He's got to keep surviving, right? And he survives by being the villainous character. He's responsible for other people's deaths, maybe that you like. So
I know the big bad guy,
killed, it's like, this was earned. Oh, yeah, good.
I was thinking more of the incompetent people on Walking Dead.
There is.
I've argued fewer people died under Negan than Rick. I'm just going to say that.
Okay, yeah, good point.
I know he's the monster. Everyone hates him, but yeah.
Well, in this one, there's a Negan-like character in this one who you could make that same argument, where the following the rules and doing what you're supposed to will keep you alive up to a point. And so there's some tragic things, but sometimes when people die, they die in a good way, and they die in a heroic way, and let's just say protecting other characters you like, and ultimately, the baddies do get their, there is the payoff. But then this one is one that has a very ambiguous ending.
I see toilet paper.
Yes, and there's some.
Whenever the zombie apocalypse hit, the first thing you need to do is go grab all the toilet paper.
And that's exactly what's happening in this scene. People are doing the whole, we gotta like go to the store and get stuff to hunker down and whatnot, and it's like, why are you taking all this toilet paper? What good is that gonna do? And it's.
Oh, Maria T and Telly said she had the dash, but she put out a video and shouted you and Ned are out. So there we go.
Oh yes, I had heard something about this, so I'm eager to go check this out. I'd appreciate if you guys all went over to Maria's channel to check out this video, give it a thumbs up, share it out, do all the things.
Kennedy's ultimate goal: what, steal a toilet paper? That's her bucket list.
But
okay.
But
I don't know. No, I'm sure you'll play
this one is, and this is a great one for like, you could, if you like horror movies at Christmas time, this is right up there with things like Black Christmas and
Christmas
and A Nightmare Before Christmas,
Silent Night, Deadly Night,
Krampus.
But Black Christmas was directed by Bob Clark, who also directed A Christmas Story and who also directed Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
There you go. It all comes big full circle.
And he did Porky's also.
Oh yeah. There you go. It kind of all makes sense, right? So Anna and the Apocalypse. I think this might have been suggested to me originally by Big Al.
Yeah, this sounds like a Big Al movie. It looks weird.
It's not, I know he's seen it. We may have even watched it together, to be honest. You see, we've done so many rewatches at this point. I don't remember which ones we watched together and which ones we didn't. But
no, I think Anna and the Apocalypse was recommended to us by somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, we came across it by accident. One of those things.
I don't
think it was
know.
A Big Al
this
suggestion.
one was definitely
it's no Ouija shark.
It's not Ouija shark. This one was really a good one.
No, it looks like it has good production in the end.
There is some great elements of there. If you liked Shaun of the Dead, there are some scenes in here that make you think of that. Like, remember the scene in Shaun of the Dead where the friends are like all trying to pretend to be zombies, and so they're trying to walk like there's a scene.
They did the L7 song, pretend that we're dead during that scene or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. But there's a scene in this one where the friends are trying to get out of. They are at a bowling alley. They're trying to get out of the bowling alley, and they're trying to do it by. They turn the inflatable jump in the balls thing for the kids. They turn it over. The ball pit, right? That's what it is. The ball pit. They turn the ball pit upside down, and they're trying to,
use it
as like a tank, like to get out, and so they all have to walk together and keep it close to the ground, and the zombies can't get to them. But if they can get under it, it's so it's all kind of funny, but also kind of tense too, kind of like that.
Yeah, especially when someone sits on it and it starts deflating.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a great bit. Why are they at the bowling alley? Well, they had to get there. There were reasons, and
no, it's like one of them worked there, and the boyfriend or girlfriend
had to get somebody else out of there, and there were survivors there. But they had to get to the school. Everyone's trying to get to the school, because that's the central location and stuff.
But either the boyfriend or girlfriend worked there, and then the other one came to meet them,
right? And
they ended up fooling around and staying there.
And then they have to get out and get back to the school, because that's where everyone's supposed to be meeting at, and everybody's got loved ones they're concerned about, and not everybody makes it out alive.
So it's not a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's exactly a big part. Oh yeah, and there's elements of there's the whole thing with the candy canes and Christmas trees. Yeah, there's all
there's things.
That's her probably last moment of actual pure bliss before she realizes she's in the middle of something here. Yeah.
Oh well.
But there you go. Yeah. And in the
Apocalypse. The first Christmas zombie musical, correct?
Yes, the first zombie Christmas musical, right? So, probably the only one. I can't see this one. All of those elements came together so perfectly I don't see anyone doing that again. You know, it's kind of like Buffy the musical just worked so well, but everybody else that's tried to do a musical episode have just buggered it up.
Do you remember? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason I got rid of my other tabs, but your tab is still here. There was a Fox was doing the Fox Rocks week, where I guess they would have to have a musical number on every show.
Okay.
And they did Fringe, and instead it was Walter imagining like the people, like the corpses in the lab were getting up and singing. Remember that episode of Fringe? Like they were singing the Candyman, I think, and it's like, really, this is how they inserted, because it was a rule that every show had to have a musical number in it. It's like
that, but that actually makes sense. That kind of
was Walter's head, right?
Yeah, if it's inside Walter's head, anything's possible, right?
Head.
Exactly. Yeah. There have been some very bad. I mean, if Mark is still here, there was the Strange New Worlds that did a musical episode.
Oh no,
singing Klingons and stuff. Honestly, that one was not only offensive to Klingons, it was possibly offensive to some real world nationalities and cultures that
tone deaf.
For something that's supposed to be so woke, you're not I mean, we can talk about the Yasuke the Black Samurai thing too. Very tone deaf. Looks like they're trying to pull that back. And maybe it was offensive for us to have hip hop during the fight scenes in Shogun Japan. Let's maybe pull that back.
Yeah, we're gonna have more Ubisoft news on Sunday.
Yes, we will. We'll be talking about that.
They're in some trouble.
But
leave it to Hollywood to F it up. Well,
Holly woke to
F it up.
Yeah.
Well, it's not always even because it's woke. Because I don't know if Joker 2 is particularly woke, but apparently people are not liking the filet of do. I've been hearing a lot of things come out about it.
Well, it doesn't have to be woke for them to screw up. I mean, again, this is I said this about the first Joker movie that everyone loved so much. Oh, this could be the Joker from the Sparkly Bats, or this could be the Joker.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Connected to the Penguin and all this, and I'm like, why do we have 25 different Batmans?
This was me trying to condense down the number of Batmans, because I would argue if there's a young little Bruce Wayne in the Joker movie, then he has to grow up to become Batman. So I was thinking, well, can we at least tie it to the Pattinson movie?
Which they seem to be intending, but
I don't know what they're doing now. I don't care.
Well, but the other problem is this was never intended to be a Joker movie. It was meant to be something standalone, and they wanted
like a one-off. Yeah, well, I understand that.
They wanted to shoehorn it into their DC whatever.
My argument too was like, if people like Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, they could have always play him as the Joker. It didn't even necessarily be that Joker, but just have him come. Never mind. I don't want to talk about it because apparently this is all turning out to be a
they're getting what they deserve. We'll get into it.
That's what I like about zombie movies. It's like pizza. Even when they're bad, they're kind of good, right? Yeah. It's like,
damn it, now I want pizza.
And be sure to eat like an extra cheese pizza while watching a gory zombie movie.
There you go.
I'm joking because it's like you're eating. Never mind. Okay, but I want pizza. What are you doing to me? I really want pizza now.
We were just talking about you. We were talking about musical episodes of shows and how it worked out really well for Anna and the Apocalypse, and it worked out well for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not so much for Strange New Worlds with the singing Klingons. And so many others have tried.
I don't want to comment on Strange New Worlds.
It's
I don't understand modern entertainment anymore.
Most people don't. Most people do not find modern entertainment entertaining at all.
That's why they come here to streaming services on YouTube. But I will say this, any of you in the chat, if you are so inclined to watch Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, I want to tell you where it's streaming. If you have AMC Plus or Shudder, You can watch it on there without commercials, but it's also on Pluto TV for free, Plex TV for free, Philo, which I think you need a subscription to. And but that's not bad. If you have Plex or Pluto, you can watch it. You don't have to pay. See?
Yep.
Just may have to watch the Geico commercials or something, right?
Yeah, Mark actually talked to Anson Mount, who plays Captain Pike in that series.
Wow.
Last Saturday. Said I would not be one of the K-pop Klingons singing over the view screen at him. That's funny. That is funny.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The torch I bear is only scorching me. Buffy's laughing, I've no doubt.
Was that Xander? Oh no, that was Spike.
That was Spike.
Yes. Oh, Buffy.
I hope she dies. I'm free if that bitch fries. I gotta help her out.
I'm waiting for that axe to come down.
What's
the reboot of Buffy.
No.
It has to happen at some point.
Can't happen.
They will do it. And they will make you cry.
F it up like they do everything else. This is what we were talking about before. We'll talk about it again when we'll talk about it many times in the future, I'm sure. But this whole idea of doing we're going to talk about it with the Joker. They do a sequel thinking they did so well with the first one.
And everyone's just going to see it.
The next one will be wonderful. And it's like, you do not understand why the first one did so well. You can't reproduce this. And you didn't put anything in it that people wanted. Congratulations. You now have a flop. You lost all the money.
Not only that, but the whole point of the first Joker was it's a lower budget R-rated movie.
Yep.
And it's R-rated because we're not going to get as many people for an R-rated. We'll make it lower budget. And it did phenomenal.
Yep.
What did they do this time? I think it was a $200 million budget.
They blew up the budget, and then they flopped it because they didn't understand what they were doing.
Well, we'll see what happens. With
and again, I will say that I know that people think that Joaquin Phoenix is so great and that Lady Gaga is wonderful and this director was the best. I'm sorry. You chose a bad film that flopped, and it may tank your careers, and that's on you. Part of being a good actor or director or whatever is knowing what projects to do and which ones to stay the hell away from.
Warner Brothers is having a stellar year. I guess they had Beetlejuice. Was that any good? I think it did okay.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things.
Okay, but they got Tim Burton to come back, and they got the Michael Keaton. So all right, because I'm trying to think what else have they had this year. I know they're gearing up for Superman next year. Superman. Not Superman the motion picture or the movie. It's a Superman because I told you they went with my idea. They never used that.
Yes.
The title just plain Superman. They realized that we just call it Superman.
I have no faith in.
You have no faith.
In this. I have no faith in James Gunn, in Warner Brothers. But I'm open.
You want to be proven wrong. You want.
I would love to be proven wrong. I don't expect that I will be, but we'll see what happens.
All right.
Anyway, so what do we got coming up? We got tomorrow night
Big
over
Al.
on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, The Birds. That is a classic one. I'm guessing most of y'all have seen it, but if you haven't, this is a great opportunity because this is a classic.
And the next movie in 2 weeks,
horror/thriller film, Alfred.
Yes, suspense movie, The Master of Suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah. And I heard that Big Al will be doing Bird on a Wire in 2 weeks after that, right? I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Just because it has Bird and no title.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Okay,
but keep in mind, Mark, Kalis himself said you are Klingon, you need no one. So following Kalis is also being independent, anyway, and So then, of course, Sunday there's all the deleted scenes things, including the
Western cinema with Outlaw Bill.
With Outlaw Bill, of course. I'm kind of looking forward to his unscripted. I'm expecting a bit of a rant about what's going on in his neck of the woods.
Okay. Oh, yikes! Because he had an event.
Oh yeah, he's right there, and a lot
of. Is he okay? I should have asked him that.
Yeah, no, he's doing good, but he's close to where people aren't doing so good.
Supposedly, we're going to be getting hit. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I'm getting sick and tired of the wackadoos on the interwebs. I got into it with someone today who's like, "Well, I'm sick of you people who've never been through a hurricane and blah 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 and this and that. This is the way it works." And I'm like, "Well, I'm sick of you morons who think because you've been in a hurricane, you know what these people in particular are going through. You don't have, ownership of knowledge because you have a lived experience, and then you get to ignore their lived experience." And then I just start dropping all of the streams of people that are there talking about what they're going through, and then they're like, "Well, you don't understand. The government has to coordinate and this and that and the other." I said, "Oh, this government." And then I dropped the article that's coming out from the Senate about how they botched it and how all the money was spent elsewhere. And this government and this government, and this. And I'm like, you know what? I can only assume you work for the government and you're trying to justify your own existence. I'm muting you because you're just wasting my time, Anyway, so yes, I'm looking forward to
doing into deleted scenes. And then after deleted scenes, you can come over to my channel and also be on Troy's channel, be the Geeky Geezers.
Geezers, we're definitely, like we said, we're going to be talking about the Ubisoft thing and
talking about Joker critical reviews. We're not going to. We're going to wait on the box office results probably to the following week because I suspect that there's going to be a lot of fallout from this thing that we'll be hearing about during next week. But I figure we can talk about how the critics are eviscerating this movie. And not just the mainstream critics, like Sin's Corner was not a fan of this. Jester Bell,
basically,
Bearford, Snarky J. I watched her. She's not a fan.
Culture Casino. So basically, all of the reviewers that I admire and like and generally agree with are saying don't see it. So I won't be seeing it. Not that I saw the first one, nor have I seen any of the Snyderverse things because they were not. You
didn't see Shazam?
I did see Shazam. I take that.
I guess Snyder was out of the picture at that point, though.
Yes, he was.
What was or wasn't Snyderverse?
Whether that was Snyderverse or not is kind of up for debate, I suppose.
If it was Snyderverse, Billy Batson would have died at the end or something, right? I don't know.
Right. He would have snapped Black Adam's neck or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, Geeky Geezers. And then join Deleted Scenes and a bunch of us, including myself, for The Other Side of Midnight. It's The Other Side of Midnight Eastern Time. It's a little bit after 11 in Central Time, where we're going to be talking about some films for the season, specifically in relationship to physical media. And, I think I get lazy on Sundays and I don't go on camera. I might have to go on camera so I can show off some of my physical media on Deleted Scenes channel on Sunday night, Monday morning.
You got a Planet of the Apes animated series collection.
I absolutely do.
Actually, show off your Buck Rogers Blu-ray. That would be neat. Buck Rogers Blu-rays. Remember those?
Yes. And so that is literally leading right into Monday, where Monday night, I think I've decided now it's going to be Fido and it's going to be Warm Bodies. Those are going to be my two zombie films for this Monday. Last call, Monday night at the movies, 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern on my channel. Tuesday is a lot of fun because live from Sparkwood in 21 at 7:30, episode 15 of The Return of Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yeah.
Followed immediately after by Blake 7, episode 4. I want to say it's Spacefall. I think that's the name of the episode. So we'll be doing that over on my channel. And yeah, so that's Tuesday.
You
as
did
far as-
Spaceball last week, what, didn't you?
okay, so what's the next one? I don't know. It's actually up on my
Episode
channel.
3.
Yeah, no, episode 4.
Episode
I did
4, okay.
episode 4 is coming next.
Ah.
And then let's see, Wednesdays usually open. That's my Dungeons and Dragons night. So, although I don't have Dungeons and Dragons this week because my attorney and dungeon master is going to be out of town, so we may do something else.
You should have zombies in your next D&D campaign.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny you say that because we're going through the Ravenloft campaign, so a lot of vampires, a lot of those kinds of.
Do they have a Frankenstein analog in Ravenloft?
Yes, they do. It's
cool.
Mordenheim. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so Thursday over on Netter's Network, what are we doing on Thursday, Netter? I know I just did a thumbnail for you.
We have. Okay, my screen weird. My special guest will be Real Wade Nation Gaming.
Real Wade Nation Gaming. He was here for a little bit. We'll talk. We've been on his channel. He'll be on Thursday. We'll be talking about his channel. Maybe get you guys to subscribe and check out.
And I still need guests for Thursday Things. He's my last guest for a while. So if you are interested in being a guest on Thursday Things, you can Twitter me. I think if you may need to follow me in order to send me a DM.
And the rule is you have to have your own channel that you're trying to make content for, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You have to have.
We are trying to build this community.
Promote other YouTubers. Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. So
reach out to Netter. Of course, we are going into the holidays, so we're going to be doing some special episodes on Thursdays anyways.
And upcoming on Thanksgiving, we will be watching or be playing films literally
all Thursday long. We'll be doing Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
films,
so we're gonna start around like 9 a.m. and go into like 11 or so at night.
Yep.
So
so
once
just
we have our list
drop in
finalized,
anytime. The Cosme will be open all night.
Yeah, and once we have our list finalized, we'll put it in our community tab so y'all can see what times and all that.
So so let's see. Thursday. Oh, and then of course, right after, just jump on over to deleted scenes. We'll forward John where he will be he'll be doing his weekend update to tell you all the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday stuff that he's got coming up. So because it's a lot and it's hard for us to always keep track of all of the like I'm always forgetting the Action Theater thing. I don't see it. Well, I'm usually at work when that starts, so I end up missing that. So, but so that's Thursday. Next Friday, Boomer. You know what we got going on next Friday?
Very superstitious. No,
yeah, right.
I don't want to get you demonetized.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They'll strike you for that. Okay.
Well, yeah, no, I might have just offended some people with my rendition.
Superstitions. And
that was your idea, and I thought it was a great one. We're going to talk about many of our favorite superstitions, where they came from. I actually think that I'll bet some of you guys have superstitions that you don't even realize are superstitions. They're just habits you picked up and you don't even realize where they came from. So we'll talk about some of those with a very special returning guest. Nick from Beyond the Hub podcast will be with us talking about superstitions. So that'll be fun next week. Keeping it in the spirit of the season. And that brings us around to next Saturday when Netter's got a movie, and I don't remember what it is. And I bet she doesn't either.
Of course I do.
Do you?
Electric Grandmother.
Oh, the Electric Grandmother. Oh, that's
what is that?
You've never seen the Electric Grandmother?
No.
Oh, Maureen Stapleton.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone.
Yes.
Were these like goofy looking robots?
No, they were robots, but they weren't goofy looking.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different movie. Okay.
Yeah, it was a made-for-TV film, but it's a sweet one. This isn't a scary movie. This is not a Halloween type of thing, but this is definitely the kind of thing that fit into the specials at the end of the year.
So it's not the Revenge of the Stepford Wives. That was a made-for-TV movie. Did you know that?
Was it really? I didn't know that.
It's the Stepford Wives, I guess, from the original, and they turn on their men.
This is one of those. I believe it's a Ray Bradbury story. It's very much in keeping with those, kind of like those Isaac Asimov robot stories. Electric Grandmother. Oh, you don't know this one, Nate? I'm surprised that you don't remember this one. Yeah, this one. I love this movie. I get a little weepy at the end. This is a really great one. I mean, it kind of helps that the little girl in this one is she totally reminds me of Netter. I mean, it's just one of those kinds of things. But yeah, this is a good one. I think you're gonna like that one. So that is a week and a day of what's coming up.
And then after that Saturday, we'll be Geeky Geezers again. We'll be apologizing for our treatment of Ubisoft when we realize the new changes they made to Assassin's Creed Shadows. And
we'll see.
I'm kidding. I'm trying to predict that far out.
There are rumors. That they are, because honestly, if this tanks the way every indication says it's going to, that is the end of Ubisoft.
I gotta tell you, someone out there somewhere has to do something interesting. What's in the zeitgeist? What's the new thing? Because
idea.
Movies
YouTubers.
Are just like yawn.
I think channels like this, and all the people in this community, we're taking the place of average television, and honestly, I think independents are going to start making games too.
They've been doing them for a while. Yeah,
I know, but I think there's new people that are starting.
I think so too. Yeah.
For example,
they break off from these big studios like Rocksteady, and they go.
I would encourage people pay attention to, and I know I've brought this channel up before many times. The Metatron, who is a big linguist and history guy and so forth. He put out an interactive YouTube story game kind of thing. Speaking of Electric Grandmother, it seems to be kind of that kind of a sci-fi kind of thing. I've played it through once. I want to do it again because I know there's alternate endings. Definitely want to check this out. But he is doing this to see how much interest there is. And he is planning to do, and I'm reading between the lines here, things that he said, things that he's implied. I suspect what he's doing is he is going to do a game based on time travel to a historic period, and he's going to get it historically accurate.
It'd be funny if it was a Hollywood producer time traveling the period and saying, "You guys have this all wrong." Like he thinks he's still in the movie set.
Exactly.
Why aren't the Romans wearing the bracelets?
I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't at least some gag in there about that. But
by the way, Curtis Selby said he's gonna be doing Saturday morning cartoons tomorrow.
Neat.
Nice.
Superman.
There you go. Yes. Last week it was Superman, so you definitely go check
Superman,
out
the Ruby Spears. Was there a Ruby Spears Superman series from the 80s, I think? I don't know if that's what he's doing.
No. Well, I think he was doing the Fleischers originally.
Oh, the Fleischers. Okay. Maybe he's going in order. They've done a ton of Superman.
There's a lot of good stuff. Yeah. So, before that he was doing anime. That's not so much my thing, but it would probably be more your thing.
Yeah, I like it. I like the anime.
I know.
I like the One Punch Man, the greatest superhero.
There you go. Careful, we might start doing spoilers for Life from Spark 121. Don't do that. Anyway, that's all we got for tonight. Boomer, have I missed anything you wanted to?
I think we're good.
We didn't explain your icon tonight. explain to people
Well,
what that is
look,
and why.
I believe in the game Plants versus Zombies. I guess later on in later levels in this tower defense game, because the plants will attack the zombies for you, the flowers. But eventually, I think the zombies get a tractor, and that's where that's from. I think, yeah.
And because your icon is
My icon
the
is
old
usually
guy on the
an
tractor, it
aged
kind of
boomer on a tractor, so
yeah,
that's what I was doing.
that works. That works. There you go.
Mhm.
Would you want to watch some Fists of the North Star with me, Boomer?
Not anytime soon, maybe someday, just because I'm
one
so
of these
busy with
days.
school and stuff.
Yeah.
But that might be something to do someday. Yeah, I remember seeing the original movie. Have you ever seen Fist of the North Star? It's very bloody martial arts stuff.
I have
but,
not. No.
Like I said, I'll keep that. I'll keep you in mind, Curtis. Maybe if I get some spare time after the semester, we'll see. Maybe I can pop on there after the semester. Yeah.
All right. So, and that's all I got. I'm just going to say, my usual guys, I thank you so much for all the support. You guys, you've been working so hard to get Netter to her goals for her watch hours. You guys just tuning into the regular streams are really helping in a big way with my watch hours. I'm hoping to be fully monetized with AdSense by the end of the year, and at least getting Netter to the minimum monetization by end of the year. Then she gets the emojis and she gets the memberships and the super chats and the stuff like that. But yeah, and got a lot of other things in the works. It's hard, when we both work full-time jobs and trying to do this. Unfortunately, this YouTube thing is a side gig for us. We would love to make it a full-time thing, and we just want to bring you guys all along for the ride. That's the absolute plan. So thanks again for another great Friday night and hanging out with us. And maybe you got some new zombie films to check out.
Mm-hmm.
And that, Netter, you wanna take us out?
I can.
Yes, you can.
Like Troy said, I want to thank y'all for help me get my watch hours up to 3,000. It's gone up a little bit that I need. I think it's 330. I'm sorry, 230. Wait, nah, is it 2 1? Hold on. I gotta go add.
It's hard because, as I pointed out to her, every day they recalculate and your average changes because whatever your watch time was from 366 days ago, that falls off,
Okay.
and they reevaluate.
3,000 watch hours minus.
It's like chasing a moving number.
Yeah, exactly. Minus. Come on, I need that. I need 132 now.
You're really close.
I'm so close. But I know y'all are having me on a separate tab. You're watching videos to help me get those hours. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It may not seem like anything to y'all. It's like, I got a tab open.
Yeah.
But to me, it means so much. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
You really helped me out, and I cannot do this without you. So thank you. I mean, I don't even think thank you is enough of appreciation word-wise to say, because I appreciate this so much.
Yeah.
But I don't know of any stronger words than thank yous. So thank you. And with that said, we can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good, and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, you're being goofy, whatever it may be. Excuse me. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room and we're enjoying each other's company. We're having such a great time. And you guys, not just our friends, you are our family. We love you guys and we appreciate you so very much. You could be anywhere right now and you're here listening to us talk about zombies.
Yep.
So thank you so very much for not just encouraging us on the panel, but encouraging one another in the chat. and stuff, for all that you guys do for supporting our channels and helping us to grow so that we can put out better content for you, because this isn't for us, this is for you. And we want to make sure that we are improving our content, improving the quality of our streams. I've mentioned this before. Anything that Troy gets for his super chats and stuff, because he's monetized, goes right back into the channel. So, we are trying to get better sound, better lighting. I really want to revamp the area that we sit in for streaming, because right now it's a corner of our family room. But all of that, all those funds go right back into the channel. So thank you so much for supporting us in all the many ways that you do. And until next time, which you'll see, that'll be Saturday over on Big Al's channel, and many deleted scenes things going on, because it's deleted scenes all the time. Until then, good night and God bless. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Again, appreciate all of you guys. Have a great one, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.